You're listening to The Drew Yari Show.
That's the wine and diner with kings and queens.
You're looking at the man. You're listening to The Drew Yari Show.
In 3, 2, 1. Hey, what's going on, guys? It is the final show of the year, the Yari Year-End Awards, the 4th annual Yari Year-End Awards. And, of course, I got to do it big. I got some special guests lined up. Let me introduce you to the host of Garden of Doom. You can also hear him on Hammerlock Hangover. He is the very likable, the biggest proponent of women's wrestling to date, Jeff Lipman.
Wait, who are you talking about?
And the second guest for tonight is, what other introduction can we give to this man? You can find him on his own podcast, the Brooklyn Savages podcast, along with Brother Monty. You can also find them on their Patreon. Look for that to hit up stores pretty soon. Mr. RJ, the Brooklyn Savage.
Hey, how you guys doing? You forgot too, Drew. I'm a famous E-Fed wrestler too. You didn't know it.
He's a famous E-Fed wrestler. You can find him. The biggest star this business will ever see.
Exactly. Damn it.
Anyways, guys, yeah, it's last show of the year. I mean, how you guys planning to enjoy your New Year's? Whoever wants to start.
RJ can start.
Well, I don't know. Just work on certain things that started on this year. Try to keep myself in better shape. Treat my body a whole lot more better than I had been doing the last 10 years. And just work on enhancing a lot of different things that I've set out and start to do this year. Keep a steady head and just keep on going, man. No real set goals in particular, just to keep on working on what I started last year or this past year.
All right, it's a good goal. What about you, Jeff?
Yeah, I don't make resolutions because I don't keep them. Build on whatever I've got going. Just try to have fun. With the shows. Hope they grow. Hope they catch on. I'd like to say I want to be a better person online, but I don't. Do I have any big plans for New Year's? No. I mean, as a bunch of people already know, I'm sick. I've self-diagnosed myself with having at least had COVID. There's nothing to confirm that other than my worst symptoms were, of course, over the Christmas long weekend. But they were like nothing I'd ever had before, except they were like the side effects of the vaccine, and the second shot especially, except like exponentially worse. So it had to be COVID, but now it's morphed into a regular flu, which sucks. But I know what it is and know how to deal with it. Point for your question is, I just hope that by the time New Year's Eve rolls around, that I will have an appetite back so that I can enjoy some food rather than just try to eat for survival, sustainment levels. But there'll be plans. I didn't watch enough Christmas horror movies, so I've got to still check some of those out.
Right, good choices. I guess I'm kind of with Jeff. I don't really keep resolutions because I don't really do them. But it's just kind of keep it simple. Just hopefully the year gets better. I mean, we already got this new brand of COVID coming around. It seems like anytime we get rid of one COVID, the other COVID comes in, or a new COVID just comes in, takes its place. So, I mean, the best we can hope for is that the year is better and just life is easier, which, I mean, that's a lot to ask for at this point. And just, it's one of those things where it's just like, for me, I just want life to just be the way I want it to be. Just keep it simple.
Okay. Well, how are you going to make that happen with your vast powers?
Let me tell you. Just hold on to what you have. Well, hold on to what you have. Hold on to what makes you happy. And if you wake up tomorrow and it's still there, then you did your job.
Okay. You just repeated the lyrics of a 38 Special song. I'm sure of it.
Go to hell, Jeff. But
you think this isn't?
I don't know. Basically, just we just want to have a good year. That's really all that matters. But yeah.
And Russia don't invade Ukraine.
What was that?
Russia don't invade Ukraine. China leave Taiwan alone, and let some prices come down.
Right. Look for that. Let's get into the news before we get into the awards. A couple of news bits. We were just talking about it off air. Toni Storm is gone from WWE. She hasn't been released. She actually asked for her release, which is odd because on Friday she just had a match, which was pre-recorded, but it was still a match that showed up on Friday against Charlotte Flair for the Women's Championship. She lost. According to RJ, supposedly there was they had to do a lot of reshoots for the match or do a lot of edits, I think, because the match really wasn't that great. Toni Storm just did an interview with Ryan Satin where she was talking about her future in the company, and there was a quote where she had talked about the transition from NXT to the main roster and said it was, I think the quote was, it's the worst. And when you look at her transition to the main roster, they bring her in as a big deal, and she just has one match, and then she's completely taken off TV for no reason. And then she ends up losing a match against Carmella in the Queen's Crown tournament, which was like a minute. And then she ends up being pretty much shoehorned into a feud with Charlotte. And she had the match, and now she's gone. So, I mean, we kind of talked about this a little bit, but what do you think, in your opinion, maybe kind of led to her wanting her release? If you had to guess.
The bad transition.
Mm-hmm.
The cream pie.
Cream pie.
Just the I don't know, the drop. She's just this rock star in NXT UK and NXT, and now she's just a dope wearing a top hat on the main roster. It's just, I get it. I get what she was saying in that interview. The transition is terrible. But that's for a lot of people. A lot of people, they have a cool factor in NXT. They have this sort of, likability about them that you can't really turn away, or you want more. When they hit that main roster for whatever reason, you're just like, it just ain't hitting the same, And she was a victim of that.
I honest to God don't know what anyone was talking about. Her record in NXT, I think, was 2-12. I mean, maybe she enjoyed her time down there more, but it's not like she was treated as a big deal or important. Listen, I'm one of those people that didn't see anything in her, so I don't think it's any great loss. I don't think she was a fit. But if what RJ said is correct, that her match was so bad that they had to re-edit it, I think that she's just embarrassed. And she said, well, if you don't think I'm good, then let us go. And they probably said, we don't think you're good. We'll let you go. Because lots of people ask for their releases. I mean, Brody Lee famously was asking for his release for 3 years. Rusev, Miro, was asking for his release for months and months and months. People don't get their releases because they ask for them. I think the only one that did was Andrade. And, and let's not forget that, the most influential women's wrestler of all time, and probably one of the only stars on the WWE roster, is his fiance or girlfriend or whatever, and they probably wanted to keep her happy. So aside from Andrade, I don't remember any easily granted releases. So clearly they saw no value in her, or there's something wrong. So whatever it is,
maybe it's Nick Khan's way of, hey, just let's stop hoarding them and just let them go. Let them go.
Maybe, though, I'm starting to wonder what Nick Khan's definition of hoarding is, because it seems like Nick Khan's definition of hoarding is if you have more than 4 slices of bread, you're hoarding. So I'm not really sure.
No, I'm not talking about him personally. I'm talking about from the last guard. Like, no, Nick Khan, he ain't playing around. He is cutting everything in sight. But since he's been in there, like, he's just chopping people up, and like it's just like, I'm saying that maybe he's like, okay, we'll just give her the damn release. She wants out. Let's get her out. Let's clean house.
Yeah, it very well could be just as simple as that. Maybe he's like taking a new approach. Listen, if we're getting rid of people who don't want to go, if somebody wants to go, she just probably saved somebody's job.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you look at NXT 2.0, they very much want to get rid of the old guard, which was Triple H's vision of NXT, which was, hey, let's try to bring every indie name that we can find. Instead, they want to go back to their own, which is let's create homegrown talent, which is good, which is something they did in the past.
Actually, that's Triple H's vision 2.0.
Okay, whatever. But like i.e. OVW. OVW created homegrown stars, and then FCW came in and just brought in names. So now they're going
Not
back to
FCW, actually, they created homegrown stars, too. You can't say that.
Well, I mean...
Look at Big E and Roman.
Yeah, Big E and Roman, but I think Sheamus worked overseas. I think Kofi worked overseas, and Xavier, worked overseas. But anyways, that's beside the point. But now they just want to stick to primarily bringing in home, creating their own talent. And it looks like it's paying off, because you got Steiner. You got, Carmelo is an indie guy. Joey Numbers would know about him. And then people like Tiffany Stratton, who... What's your guys' opinion on Tiffany Stratton?
I've only seen her vignettes.
You didn't see her match?
The opening act to a stepdad porn? I mean, like, come on.
Yeah, I mean,
my daddy says this. My daddy says that. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's a racier character for WWE 2022 standards. I don't know. I mean, but no, I haven't watched NXT yet. I'll probably watch it tomorrow.
I haven't seen it either.
She had a match on Tuesday against, I forget the name, but it was Job Talent, and
was it any good?
I mean, she was impressive because the way they built the gimmick up, you would think it's going to be someone that looks like Alexa Bliss, but she's actually in really good shape. She's fucking yoked. Almost.
Yeah, she's fucking jacked. She's too jacked to be wearing that damn skirt, that's for sure.
So I
mean, she's a gymnast. She was like an Olympic gymnast or state or collegiate gymnast. But you just called Alexa Bliss out of shape. That's bizarre.
I never said out of shape. I said for a gimmick like this, you would assume it would have been someone who looks like Alexa Bliss, i.e., someone who's tiny, someone who's dainty, someone who looks like they're not very intimidating. I'm saying
Tiffany looks helpless.
Tiffany Stratton looks like she can, beat the shit out of Alexa Bliss.
Let's cut to the chase. Is she the She-Hook? Is it Sendin the Stratton?
Yes, I would say yes.
So there's going to be Stratton Mania versus Hookamania.
Oh God! Don't mention Hook. Don't mention Hook on this show ever.
What the hottest wrestler going today?
God, no, he sucks. I hate him. Don't ever mention Hook on this show.
You mean Hook? But I'm talking about Hook.
Drew's a hooker.
Then we can dig it.
Stop.
That cat Hook. He's a bad mother.
Shut your mouth. God. Fuck. Anyways. Tiffany Stratton. She looks like she has potential.
I saw on Twitter she posted a picture of her, doing a bicep in a bikini. Sure, she has small boobies, so I'm immediately less interested.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Well,
Jeff.
that will change by the time she gets to the main roster. I can assure you that.
Okay.
You're gonna have fucking Vince and fucking Bruce Pritchard get in her ear.
Well, text me then. And then
44 double D, bitch. You know where to go.
It ain't giant tits. Yeah.
You got it right. Big biceps, big triceps. You just need a big boobs, damn it.
Look at Jade Cargill.
Jade Cargill.
Can't wrestle, nobody cares.
We'll get to AEW in a bit, but yeah, we can kind of segue to another past release talent. I don't know if you guys listen. Killer Cross and Scarlett Bordeaux are on Renee Paquette's podcast, and it was a pretty good listen. You know, they talked about the release, and she had mentioned that they were literally they were getting to the airport when they got the call to be released. And then Cross talked about his transition to the main roster. I'll try to skim through this as much as possible. He says, when I went up and they asked me to do the Jet match with Jeff, I didn't put him over. I was like, sure, that's fine. Cross said, I grew up a fan of Jeff, and then getting to meet Jeff and him being really cool was an awesome experience to me. He's one of the coolest people I've ever met. So I was like, that's fine. And one of the agents came in and said, there's a long-term plan for this. Don't sweat it. I'm like, okay, cool. I do my entrance, I get out there, the ref comes to me and says, hey, your 10-minute match is now down to 90 seconds. The first time we're working on television, we really don't know each other in the ring, our rhythm. They come back from commercials, and I'm trying not to laugh. If you go back and watch it, I'm smiling. I remember that. Closed mouth, trying to hold it back. As soon as Jeff got in the ring, I just snatched him and told him what we needed to do, and that was it. When I went back to NXT the next day, I spoke to someone there, and I just said, look, my biggest fear right now, my biggest phobia is that there's a hole being dug for me, and I'm nervous that if I'm not permitted to crawl out of it myself and people absolve themselves of creating the situation, I'm not going to be a return as an investment. I'm going to get fired. So what do you think I should do now? Because part of this business is doing what you're told. My intuition intuitively was telling me that everything was off. Everything felt wrong, and I felt something bad coming. Like 4 months before it happened, but everyone I would talk to was like, oh no, everybody loves you. It's good. You have no problems, yada, yada, yada. But I felt it coming. I tried to, as professionally, politely as I could, talk to people in the chain of command about that, and just try to be a good sport about everything. End quote. Yeah, he pretty much... Cross pretty much is echoing what we've all been saying about him since he debuted.
Oh, no, he's not echoing what we've all been saying. Some people were reflexively defending WWE and saying, oh, there's a plan, trust it. And if you would say anything bad about the use of Cross, it was like you were attacking them personally. No, yeah, a lot of people were saying this, saying they're using them terribly, and Cross just audibilized exactly what anyone with sense saw with their eyes. But there were a lot of people, especially in my circle, who are sort of reflexive WWE apologists, who were defending, and if you were criticizing the use, the planning, whatever you want to call it, it's like you were attacking Cross and Scarlett, and that wasn't it at all. It's like you took away the guy's entire act. You're neutering him, and he's basically saying that they dug a hole for me. I never really had a chance, and I never had control over it. But he's right. He's exactly right. Part of the business is doing what you're told, and probably more so now than it even was in the old school days, doing what you're told, and being a good soldier and earning your dues. So he's in that catch-22 where only hindsight tells you what's the right way to go. And truth be told, there might have been no right decision. If he stood up for himself, he might have just been released earlier. So I don't know. But the only thing I heard that was news is that, Scarlett had a ruptured breast implant, and that's why she wasn't performing for the last few weeks. That explains that at least. But beyond that, Dom, sorry it happened to you, man, because I was a big supporter of yours and hoping for big things, but it was painful to watch.
Yeah, it was just, because, I love Cross, RJ, I know, is a Cross fan. Ruben was a Cross fan, and you just said you're a Cross fan. And it's just like, I made the, the comments about Cross, getting onto the main roster and then wearing the shit helmet, which he said was shit. Cross himself said it was a shit, gimmick.
It was a shit gimmick, but he's normal.
Right, and then people in our circle, I won't mention names, but you know who you are, would defend it. And to their credit, we knew why they had to defend it, but it was just like, it's a stupid gimmick. It's stupid. It makes him look like an idiot,
His worst mistake was wearing that damn gladiator shit to begin with.
Jesus Christ! It's just like, how does Vince McMahon see Cross or Bruce Pritchard or John Laurinaitis, whoever? How do they see Cross in NXT and go, you know what, Vince? I think we should put a gladiator helmet on him.
He did it to himself by wearing that one outfit on those couple of takeovers. They saw that and they were like, "Shit, let's run with it." He did that one to himself.
Right, and I like Cross, but it's just like, even when he did that at NXT, I was like, yeah, the gladiator shit, I'm not a fan of. It's silly.
Yeah, I wasn't really. I wanted him to stick with his old classic look from the Killer Cross look. I wanted the lawn trench coat and the shades. We never got that at all. I'm like, why are you really deviating? I know you want to keep like Killer and Carrie and whatever like separate or whatever, but why not wear that outfit? And he started wearing the gladiator shit, and I'm like, And then it got worse. And he got to the main roster, the damn stripper straps and the fucking shindig helmet. Like, it just got worse and worse. And yeah, man, it was downhill from there. You know what really did it though? I look back on it. That promo where Adam Cole just outclassed him. To me, that was the beginning of the end of Karrion Kross as we knew it.
It was the end of Karrion Kross as maybe we knew it, but the NXT audience is only a small fraction of the WWE audience. Most of those people never saw that, and they never will, and they don't care. So it was a fresh start. So. I mean, I agree that promo was damaging and it was bad, but I mean, you can recover from that. The problem was they didn't want him to recover from that because they wanted to give the title to Samoa Joe for God knows what reason, and so then on top of that they had Samoa Joe wrestle before Samoa Joe was in what counts for Samoa Joe ring shape. So it was a crappy ass match. So his last impression on NXT was pretty piss poor as well. But just. I mean, I don't know. The guy had an act that was special. You had this presentation, this sort of scary, dark side, occult influence, tough guy enforcer kind of thing. You almost like Bruce Willis was the boxer, and he had the French girlfriend in Pulp Fiction. Sort of like she was a little bit, she had her weird, sort of fringe taste. It's like different characters, but sort of like that dynamic. She was the occult and scary one, and he was sort of just the driving force, and the smoke, the music, the timing of it. They'd come together. The lighting was supposed to be right, and they took it all away. They took away the lighting. They took away the entrance. They changed the music. They changed the tempo. They took away the girl. They changed his look. They changed the cadence of his walk. They made him walk slowly, like it seemed like he had nowhere to go. I mean, it wasn't even like he was walking with a purpose, like Stone Cold Steve Austin. It just the whole thing was weird, and he just always looked uncomfortable in it. And the character was tweaked like 6 or 7 times, but it was like 3 characters, but 8 different variations. I don't know. It was one of those things that seemed like it was sort of doomed from the start. But I'll always say that strong booking can erase things after just 2 or 3 weeks. Excuse me. And had they wanted to, they could have. After that win against Keith Lee, they could have had him win some other significant wins. I mean, he got his revenge against Jeff. He beat Morrison, Ricochet, Keith Lee. I mean, put him in line for a title shot.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even remember who was the champion at the time. It was before Big E.
Lashley?
Right.
Was
it
Lashley?
Lashley? They could have had him go after Priest.
Yeah. Or go after Priest. I mean, either way, it could have been. I mean, you could have had him and Lashley have a killer match, and Lashley was still with the Hurt business then, and there could have been plenty of excuses to protect.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I agree with the strong booking, kind of erase everything point. And he was on his way to that. He was racking up wins. He was looking pretty dominant. It was just that it seemed like the crowd didn't care to, which is that's a factor that a lot of wrestling fans, especially on Twitter, they forget that fact. It had to be over. And yes, they stripped him of everything, but it just seemed like the crowd did not care, and it sucked. Like Drew said, like we were all supporters of him, and it's like seeing your homeboy not getting any love. It was just painful to watch.
It's not even that; it's beyond that, because it's like he's like everything that I was raised to believe is what a professional wrestler supposed to look like.
Yes,
6'3.5", 270 pounds, muscles, the crazy eyes, can make the scary face, the cool tattoos, the girl. I mean, everything was there, and
something that you can aspire to be.
Right, yeah, and something. Well, I can't, but maybe you can.
Yeah, right.
I'm it's at least 20 years too late for me to end on that journey, let alone start it. But none of it made sense. Like, this is something that it's almost something like nobody can mess this up, but they fucked with it and they messed it up, and this was heartbreaking. This is right up there with getting rid of, to me, Bray Wyatt, getting rid of Braun Strowman, to me, getting rid of Aleister Black, to me, going back to last year, AOP and Eric Rowan, just people I just don't understand why they're not on the Major League Wrestling roster. That's who I want to see on my TV. I don't want to be seeing Matt Sydal and Leo Rush and Dante Martin and Dominic Mysterio.
The Teenage Boy Band.
I was almost going to say the name that shall not be mentioned, but I don't want to see these 150 pounders there. I don't want to see Orange Cassidy and Chuck Taylor. I know Chuck Taylor's not 150 pounds, but
no, that big goody. Holy shit! Y'all saw that tonight? God damn.
Boy.
Spanx can't even hold that shit down.
When I see Trent Beretta these days, all I think of, I never recognize him first. I'm always like, what the hell happened to Rusev?
When did he become a crackhead?
Yeah.
That's an interesting question. Where is Miro?
Well, I saw him doing the promos of the game more and more like the Ultimate Warrior, and that they make less and less sense. But he's doing like from that void, like where John Oliver is doing last week with John Oliver. I don't even know what he's talking about anymore. This whole thing with Miro is bizarre. All I know is that he's letting his body hair grow back. and I think that he's no longer working on cardio. I think he stopped. It's like he's still a big guy and still in shape, but like he was in really great shape when he first came into AEW, and he's slowly been going on that AEW lifestyle plan.
Yeah, kind of like Kyle O'Reilly.
Well, Kyle O'Reilly just got there, but I mean, can't blame AEW and Kyle O'Reilly, but I can blame Kyle O'Reilly and Kyle O'Reilly. Don't get me started on him. But
I'll get you started on Kyle O'Reilly, Jeff. But good segue. Let's go through AEW tonight, and then we'll get to the award show. AEW just happened. They had their New Year's bash. Let's see. And where are my matches?
Oh, God.
Hold up. I need to get my matches.
Let's start with a 10-person match. You had...
Jeff has on his do we have to voice.
No, I just want to kick it off. But it was the Jurassic Express. They teamed with the Lucha Brothers. You know, they're the number one contenders. Lucha Brothers.
Have it right here. I'm sorry. Okay. All right, yeah, like Jeff said, there was the big tag match: Christian Cage and the Jurassic Express, Jungle Boy, and Luchasaurus, and the Lucha Brothers versus FTR. The Hardy Family Office didn't care. I like FTR. I like Christian, even though he has been a giant bowl of meh. Jungle Boy is meh. Now he's mad at me. I don't really care about him anymore. Lucha Brothers, I'm kind of they're starting to weigh on me a little bit. Yeah, the match was what you thought it'd be, and the heels won. What'd you think?
Except worse.
It was except worse. RJ, what'd you think?
Very slaptastic match in my opinion. Just the Lucha Brothers and the goddamn Private Party. It was sloppy in there, man. Just not feeling it. Not feeling it. I love Pentagon, but I don't know. I'm starting to question whether Lucha Underground did a lot of edits and cuts in his matches over there. Holy shit! Like, I mean, it gets sloppy, really, really sloppy. FTR tried their best to keep it together. Luchasaurus is just an awkward sack of shit. Jungle Boy is a future prospect. Just got to bulk up and get some damn charisma and personality. He need to watch some of his dad's old shit. Something. Get some goddamn personality or something going. Holy, my God! Like,
Jesus Christ.
Seriously. But yeah, I wasn't really impressed with this. Christian and Christian got sick of Pentagon's showboating, and he got clapped for getting ahead of himself by FTR. So I guess then they made the match official for later for next week.
Right, tag titles: Lucha Brothers versus Jurassic Express, and teasing dissension with Christian and Jungle Boy. So, I mean, Christian's obviously gonna be the heel because I don't think Jungle Boy can pull off being a heel. But what do I know? It's AEW. You got the Booker of the Year, Tony Khan.
Good Lord.
Next match, you have 2.0 and Daniel. What was that? Hold on. Let me go back. 2.0 and Daniel Garcia versus Eddie Kingston and Proud and Powerful. I mean, again, the match was what it was. 2.0 get the win, and then they start beating the shit out of the baby faces, and then out comes Jericho with a baseball bat. And he's cleaning house, and
after they hit Santana in the face with the
damn bell.
So Jericho took his time to be in a rush, and boy, Jericho looks terrible.
He does.
He
does.
That's kind of,
my God.
Yeah,
horrible,
awful, just awful.
That gut, that hair. Oh my God. He just. Oh, who told him that was okay? Tony Khan, I bet. Because All Elite is all inclusive. Damn it.
I mean, it looks like he's trying out to replace Vince Neil on the Motley Crue tour.
Yeah,
indeed.
I saw that video. He couldn't even remember the lyrics to his own video, his own song.
Yeah. I'm not surprised about that. I mean, he's been through a lot, but yeah, this listen, I have to admit, I laughed at the end of this match. I couldn't believe that they let the heels win again, and it was over Santana and Ortiz. But like these two matches back to back, I didn't really understand the pairings. It's like everything just sort of seemed thrown together just because. And the law seems to be that no matter how many people are on the roster, you need to get the Elite, the Lucha Express, or Jurassic Express rather, and Best Friends on every single show, no matter what. I mean, the Dark Order doesn't even get such treatment. I mean, what happened to the three members of the Dark Order who didn't get their heads kicked in by Bryan Danielson? They don't have something to say. They don't want to get their turn. They couldn't have done anything with that. Not that I want to see Dark Order, but it doesn't make sense for them not to try to get revenge for their buddies. I don't know. None of this did it for me. You could see it coming a mile away that as soon as Jericho was coming back, they'd come back to this stupid story with, where 2.0 and Daniel Garcia interrupted Jericho just like they interrupted Kingston, and they were supposed to be an unlikely team, but it looks like their unlikely team is going to be, very short-lived. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen. Are we going to have a stupid feud between Kingston and Jericho? Does that mean that Moxley's treatment is going worse than anticipated, or he needs more time than anticipated, or is it just a knee-jerk nothing story? But I guess we'll wait and see. I'm not making any predictions on this, but up to this moment, aside from the ending, I didn't like this show so far.
I'm right there with you.
And then anyone who has to be in a feud with Jericho is just anyone who has to do anything with Jericho is like that's basically career homicide right there.
Well, it's like Cody North.
Cody, who's we'll get to Brandy in a bit. Well, I'm interested to hear what you guys think of the Brandy thing. MJF had a promo where he was talking about the bidding war 2024, blah, blah, blah. Says he's done with CM Punk, and then he talks to Wardlow saying, I need you to be the new TNT champion, but when you win it, you have to really good shit to me. It's in your contract, blah, blah, blah. Colin Delaney. We haven't seen Colin Delaney since, 2008?
Wait, you can't just skip over that. He made some great comments in this. This was terrific. This was brilliant. I mean, as bad as the other stuff was, or as mad as the other stuff was, not so bad. This was good to brilliant. He's like, he was complaining about how he almost got knocked on his head by that untrained Sting. Who trained him? Nobody. Instead of he should have been cut instead of revered. He said, "Well, perhaps if I was working for a more professional wrestling company." I mean, it was great. His timing is immaculate, and they brought in Mark Sterling, who finally did something useful. Actually, twice tonight he was useful. But he read that clause and he added in any titles. I just thought I thought the whole thing was great.
Oh, yeah.
MJF is a fucking magician, man. That company doesn't deserve him, as far as I'm concerned.
And if they just stole from him for the stupid Team Taz story with Dante Martin and the contract going bad or whatever, at least they could have come up with something clever. But since these guys control their own creative, the creative one comes up with something ingenious, and the not so creative ones come up with crap.
MJF is just too good. Like, I don't know what you guys think. This is just my opinion. The stuff with him and Punk, I think MJF has owned Punk on the mic, because the whole Punk return I have not been a fan of, and I've already told RJ this. I don't know if I've told Jeff this. I have not been a big fan of the Punk return. I don't care about his matches. Elevating, quote unquote. I'm using quotation fingers. Guys like Will Hobbs, who hasn't done shit. Lee Moriarty, who hasn't done shit. Matt Sydal, who hasn't done shit. And it's just like Punk should be saved for bigger matches. That's just my opinion. And a lot of his promos, I mean, yeah, he's a good talker and he's always good on the mic, but it's just like a lot of his promos just feel the same. It just feels like he's saying the same thing. Whereas MJF, he spices it up in each promo, and he gives these little inside jokes, like what Jeff just said. That untrained, idiot Sting. If only I worked for a more professional wrestling company. It's just MJF is just too good. Like he gets it. He knocks it out of the park with any promo he does. And RJ, you're right. I don't think AEW deserves MJF. Like, I don't know how WWE would handle him, because MJF is the type of guy he needs to talk off the cuff, or at least give him bullet points, and he'll knock it out of the park. You give him a scripted promo, it's gonna suck. Like, it is not gonna work. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, supposedly WWE wants him. Like, they want him bad. So we'll see what happens in 2024, the big bidding war of 2024. But yeah, again, the MJF stuff is always great. We get to Wardlow versus Colin Delaney. Of course, Wardlow does his Powerbomb Symphony, and who the fuck was I just talking about? Sean Spears looking like a penis.
Oh God.
Eating a carrot for some reason and hitting Colin Delaney with a steel chair.
All right, hold on. What a useful fuck. I've never seen. He's about as useful as a poopy flavored lollipop. I mean, he is just awful. Sean Spears. He was just a big guy that made the jump from WWE. That's supposed to be a great big deal. 2 years later, I'm still waiting for him to be a big deal or a deal. Period.
C+ player.
Good Lord, awful, just awful, basic.
He's the chairman. He's the
He's a
chairman
C+
of
player.
AEW.
Living up to a C- potential.
Did you get it? He's the chairman.
Mm-hmm.
He has a steel chair. He hits people with chairs.
Yeah, La Parker called. He wanted his gimmick back.
Remember when Tully Blanchard was his manager?
How awful and out of place that felt.
Well, Tully, you don't see him anywhere near Spears these days. I sort of like what's happening with Wardlow. It feels like it's been happening for 16 months now. But all right, if Wardlow actually does win a spot for the TNT title and/or does get the title and won't give it to MJF, that'd be a fairly explosive way for them to finally, break up. But
the thing about it is they're actually trying to get him over in the ring, which that was missing. Yeah, you're right. They've been teasing this breakup ever since they got together. Honestly,
pretty much.
It wasn't even a month in before they were already teasing a split between these two.
Mm-hmm.
But now, almost 2 years later, they're trying to get Wardlow over where it matters in the ring, and I think that's going to help even more. To your point. When he finally does not give the belt to MJF, that's almost a telltale sign that he's going to win the belt at this point, right? I mean, it has to.
Well, he's over with in the ring doing what he's doing. I mean, he was never not over. I mean, listen, every time there's a battle royal, if Wardlow turns and he's facing Hobbs or Lance Archer or whatever, whenever it's two hostas facing off, the crowd goes crazy, and there's a reason for it, because that's what people think of when they think of wrestling, or what they thought of anyway. But I think he's better than Jade Cargill skill wise, but I think they can treat the two of them the same. They don't have to have these long killer matches. They can have these 30-second to 4.5 minute matches and just kill people.
Right, and I like what they're doing with Wardlow. I like that he's just going out there and killing people, not having these methodical, competitive, catch-as-catch-can wrestling matches. Like, no, Wardlow is a big, giant monster. Push him like a big, giant monster. He looks like Batista. Push him like Batista. Push him like Batista in the early days. And this feud is basically Batista and Triple H.
Yep.
In Evolution, where MJF is telling Wardlow, I'm doing what I think is best for you, but what I'm really doing is what's best for me. And eventually there's going to be the big payoff, and again, Wardlow is getting over because he's being used the correct way.
Yeah, and they need to take fucking notes on how to use Will Hobbs and fucking Brian Cage and Lance Archer and all these other monsters that they have and not using. They have all these big guys, but they don't know how to. We've been saying it ever since the start of AEW. They have big guys. They don't know how to book them whatsoever. They're finally getting it right with Wardlow.
I don't think they want to book them right. I think they want it to be a small person's promotion.
Right.
Well, like you said, Brian Cage. Brian Cage, he's been wrestling for 14 years. Like, that's a guy.
Long ass time.
I mean, that's a guy that could have been over a long time ago, but he chose to wrestle the way he wanted to wrestle, which is, I look
but
like.
But you know what though? He didn't wrestle like that in Impact.
Right.
Like, he bust out some of the moves, but not like it is in AEW.
Right. I don't know.
But and I've seen a lot of Brian Cage, which is why I defend him when a lot of people go, "Oh, well, he sucks anyways." Like, charisma-wise, he's got a catchphrase and everything like that, but, sometimes that doesn't really equal charisma, but he has more than most. But as far as charisma goes, doesn't really have it like that. Character-wise, he's just a big jack guy that slightly resembles Wolverine with the fucking haircut and the goatee or whatever. But I mean, besides that, I mean, he's more than your big jolly giant, you know, or big man in this case. He's not really tall. He's just fucking jacked. By hook or by crook. But yeah, like I just wish they would do more with him. I wish they would do more with Hobbs instead of just having him do a fucking stupid ass snarl every.
Yeah, he's about to lose to Dante Martin.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah.
You
He's
know,
right about that.
You know what the sad part?
Remember when people said that he's guaranteed to be a world champion soon?
And you know what the sad part is about Team Taz? The only one they're pushing is he who shall not be mentioned.
Well, hashtag fire Taz. He's terrible.
Me Kobe. Let's say his name backwards. The H is silent.
I refuse to acknowledge him on my show. He will never be mentioned on my show ever.
He's a secret fan.
How dare you?
He's got his poster on his wall already.
I'm offended.
No, Ma, it's from a boy band, I promise.
When Drew grows up, he wants hair just like that. He wants a hairdo just like that.
Hey everybody, I got bad news. RJ had to leave. Hey, bye.
I got kidnapped.
I wouldn't even know how to go about getting a haircut like that.
I mean, that's probably a lot of hairspray and a lot of gel.
There seems to be a lot of static electricity floating around up there.
There's something going on. I don't know. I probably have to ask my aunt. She's a cosmetologist.
Okay.
Maybe she can give me maybe she can give me the answers on that.
That can be on the next Patreon show.
Yeah, for sure. The insight on how Hook got his hair.
All right, moving on.
Oops.
That'll be the last time. We will not be talking about him anymore. Anyways.
Oops.
Next, we got the Super Click and Red Dragon are backstage. Adam Cole says they're going to be the greatest faction, blah, blah, blah. Kyle O'Reilly acknowledges their NXT pass without saying NXT. And then says, Adam Cole can either, be on his side or not. Dan Lambert, this is probably the best promo of the night, comes in with
Thank goodness, because he had to wake me up after Kyle O'Reilly put me right to sleep.
Dan Lambert comes in with Men of the Year, talks about Cody Rhodes, says he sucks, says Arn Anderson went from being a horseman to a whore, and then talks about, Brandy Rhodes. He said she's the first Brandy he knows that isn't a stripper, but he knows that Cody has gone through a lot to try and make pro wrestling, or make it in pro wrestling. And then Brandy Rhodes comes in and says that he's a bargain basement Paul Heyman. And then Dan Lambert says, I prefer Jim Cornette. And he says the sound of her voice makes him wish he was getting his balls stapled to his legs again, like in the Minneapolis street fight. She asked him when's the last time she was beaten up by a woman and didn't have to pay for it, because she'll do him a solid. And then Dan Lambert says he'll beat you up. And then Brandy says the line. She says, I'm just going to quote this. This is a white guy saying this. And just, I have a black man on this show, so please don't get offended.
You're not white.
Shut up. She says, you may be a black belt, but I'm a black bitch. End quote.
Okay. I mean, what are you looking for here?
Randy versus Paige Van Zandt at the next pay-per-view.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I thought this was a little bit raunchy by today's standards, so it took me by surprise a bit, but it was entertaining. I enjoyed every part of it, including Brandy. Listen, I've always liked heel Brandy. I liked when she was cutting people's hair and collecting the hair with that faraway look. So, I mean, and I know that, I'm the only person. I'm the only heel Brandy fan there is. So, I thought it was funny. Of course, it's ridiculous her saying that she's going to whoop his ass, and then Dustin comes in and they hit him once and he's out, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, what a blow by what a dastardly attack!" It's like they hit him once from behind. Big deal. He's He's a 53-year-old pro wrestler that's happened every week of his life for the last 35 years.
I know, right? You would have thought he got knocked upside the head with a gun or something. The way they were acting. Shit. And the way he was laying around. Oh, damn, Dustin, you hurt? Like, seriously?
He was probably sleeping.
So the only thing that we have to really fear is now that, Cody's going to be defending against Ethan Page and then probably at some point Scorpio Sky, that it's going to be tag matches with the Rhodes brothers. And, are they all going to turn heel? What happens to Brock and Big Shotty? And I think Captain Sean Dean is the third guy there they've been bringing out with them. Is Red Velvet, is she going to be naughty also, or is she going to be nice? This is all very confusing because, the whole Cody thing, we know he's supposed to be trolling, but he's the heel that thinks he's a face. But, like, all the people around him are faces, and are they deluded also? None of them are getting booed. Most of them don't get reactions, period. But Arn gets cheered. Red Velvet gets cheered a little. Dustin still gets cheered out of respect. I don't understand a lot of things going on with AEW. Now, usually I can say at least it's mostly entertaining. Tonight, I'm going to say it mostly wasn't entertaining. Now, granted, I'm sick, but this was a weird show for me. But this Dan Lambert stuff, this and the MJF stuff, it shouldn't be. You know how people say AEW is professional wrestling, WWE is sports entertainment. Well, when the best parts of the show are the talking, that's sports entertainment. The best parts of the show the last several weeks have been the talking. The promos, and usually it's MJF and Dan Lambert are part of those highlights of the shows. But I enjoyed it. I'm sure that they're obviously looking for a little cheap heat. I don't know that they're going to get it, because the only people who would really get offended in wrestling Twitterverse are AEW fans, and they don't get offended by much of anything that AEW does. So, but I enjoyed it.
RJ, what'd you think?
Yeah, it was definitely entertaining. Dan Lambert's the fucking man. He's a gem. Everywhere he goes, from Impact to MLW to AEW. Every time he grabs a mic, my attention is, directly on screen for him. Brandy was good. I thought the whole "I'm a black bitch," I thought that was a little extra, but the whole segment as a whole was fine. Yeah, I thought the whole, Dustin one shot, boom, he's down like he got shot. I thought that was a little poor, but other than that, it was fine. I got no problem with it.
Yeah, the second one was fine.
Like I said, I think that Paige Van Zandt versus Brandy might be in the works.
Oh God.
Y'all heard it here first.
Lately, RJ's been he's been pretty much Nostradamus when it comes to bullshit.
Man.
And this segues into our next match. You got Jade Cargill versus Thunder Rosa, which is the semifinals for the TBS championship. Jade Cargill entered at being undefeated. Thunder Rosa dressing like who the fuck was it? Not Wolverine.
X-23.
X-23. There you go. And the match was what it was. Jade Cargill is not very good. They're pushing her because she has a good look. She, is obviously very.
They're pushing her because she's got a great body.
That's what I just said. She's got
a great look.
Same thing. She's got a great look and a great body. And during the match, there was a masked assailant that cracked a bottle over Thunder Rosa's head, and Jade Cargill got the win. After the match, Thunder Rosa went at Jade. The masked assailant came to the ring and helped Jade. Pulled off her disguise. It was Mercedes Martinez. So Mercedes Martinez is now all elite. What do you guys think?
Well, I told you, Drew. I told you that Jade was going all the way to the final. Now, didn't I tell you, my boy?
Yeah, you unfortunately predicted that.
Well, I mean, I think most people did. I guess Drew didn't, which is silly.
No, a bunch of people was like, Thunder Rosa's winning this whole thing, yeah. As soon as they announced this belt, Jeff, I was like, that's a vehicle to put it on Jade. If Brandy's not going to be in it, it's a vehicle to put it on Jade.
At some point, I don't know if they want two heel champions at the same time, but yeah, I mean, it's either a gift for Ruby or to put it on Jade, which is what I would do. The story's always going to be Thunder Rosa finally beating Britt Baker. That's what the chase is, and this Mercedes Martinez thing will be a sidetrack. But the lowbrow story is Impact signs people for what, about
3 weeks?
Yeah, exactly. One set of tapings, and then they're free agents, which is fine. I mean, good for her. This is better than Impact for her. Good for Mercedes Martinez. I mean, she's another one that WWE never should have released. Even if they didn't want to push her in a role of prominence, they could have done something like this. Had her be a thug, an enforcer, exactly, a heavy, or a tag team. The AJ Styles to the AJ almost kind of where she's mentoring and covering for a younger talent. So what Io has been doing for Zoe Stark before she blew her knee out. But I didn't mind this. I didn't think it was the greatest match. I liked how I liked and didn't like how the first thing is of Mark Sterling getting in the way and getting knocked. What was it, a swanton from the apron? But I thought it was funny that at least he was useful and he took the hit. But that seems like a spot that should have been somewhere more near the middle or end of the match. And then when he was drinking the water and yelling at the ref, and causing distraction for so long, I mean, it almost looked like it was set up to backfire against Jade. And I was thinking, well, maybe they're going to separate him from this guy because she doesn't really need him. But then what happened, and that made a little bit more sense. But I don't know, it went a little bit too long. The women's matches aren't very good. They keep adding more women's wrestlers who are better, but the quality of the matches don't seem to be any better. And feuds like Penelope Ford and the Bunny versus Ty Conti and Anna Jay just seem to keep going and going and going. And somehow Chris Statlander and Layla Hirsch is something that we're supposed to care about. So I don't know.
Who?
Chris, legit Layla Hirsch, isn't that her name?
Oh, I thought her name was Molly Midget.
Well, it should be. I mean, everyone's like they should push her. I'm like, why would you push someone who's 4'10"? I mean, it's just silly. Well, she can wrestle. Who cares? Who cares if she can wrestle?
Hey, they tried it with Marco Stunt, and then that failed miserably.
Yeah, he's not even on TV anymore.
Good.
Yeah, he's not.
Do you think he's one of those quiet contracts that expired and nobody's saying it?
Well,
I think so, yeah.
Well, he's also so tiny that you can't really see him, so he might be hiding somewhere.
He always makes himself known because I always wonder whose kid got away, and then I'm like, oh, that's Marco.
That Tony Khan should just get on the mic. Attention. Will somebody please claim their lost child in the wrestling ring?
That's exactly right.
It's like, oh shit, that's a wrestler. My bad.
Or as Elias said, whose kid is that?
I'm not complaining about the lack of Marco Stunt. I'm glad he's gone.
No.
But
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It's always odd when anyone disappears for this long, even from AEW, without any explanation, and really without any reason. I mean, because you had, not to talk about the opening match again because it was so bad, but I mean, the Blade and Joel, whatever his name is, part of Hardy Family Office. They were standing on the outside doing nothing the whole time. I mean, Marco could have been there to, air quotes, even the odds. So something's got to be out there.
You gave me a belly laugh when you said he can even the odds.
Yeah.
There's the air quote part for me.
He's not an even. He's not even an odd. He's a fraction.
Right. Well, he could have done like a Jeff Van Gundy and held on to Alonzo Mourning's leg.
Oh,
could have worked out just fine.
Oh my
Could have worked out
god.
just fine.
That was good.
I've got those current 1999 references for you guys.
Oh, that was good. That was good.
One of the greatest fights of all time.
It might even be older than 99. I'm not even sure.
I think it was a 97 or 98.
I know I was a little boy then. That's all I know.
Jesus Christ. Let's move on so we can get to the nitty gritty. CM Punk comes out, gives a promo, talks about Jim Ross. Jim Ross is cancer free. Good for Jim Ross. And then he brings up Brody Lee for some reason, which I can't really shit on that. I'll just move on. And then he talks about MJF, says I'm done with MJF, blah blah blah, yada yada yada. I don't know what you guys think of this promo. If you want me to move on or not.
I don't think we need to move on, but I didn't think it was a particularly impressive or interesting promo until the end. The very end was. It's very difficult to shit on someone paying tribute to Brody Lee, and I don't know that CM Punk ever said anything publicly about it on television, so it's fine. But this runs the risk of sort of being the tribute that never ends. I mean, there was a while where, you know, on the anniversary of Eddie's death, you know, people would do the Three Amigos, and they do his little lean back, you know, shake, you know, body shake. Now, every match somebody's doing that. Now there's an Eddie tribute, and it's not an Eddie tribute anymore in my mind. It's just to get yourself a cheap pop. I mean, Dominic tried it, you know, on the middle of the ropes and almost fell down, so it looked even doubly awkward. But it's just like, just stop. Pay tribute to the man, you know, on anniversaries, or really look at every 5-year anniversaries. When you do something too much, it loses its meaning, and now it's lost its meaning because it's done everywhere. Everyone's looking for an excuse to do the Three Amigos now and calling it a tribute. No, they just want a cheap pop to help get themselves over. So I'm not saying that CM Punk is doing that. He doesn't need tricks. He's over. He's been over. He's over beyond my comprehension because I've never gotten him. But this is, you know, I don't, you know, I find it sort of maudlin to constantly be mentioning deceased people, and I also think it's a little bit trite to say the greatest TNT champion of all time. I think he held the title for 5 weeks. You know, he destroyed Cody. Cody went away, filmed the show, came back, and beat him. You know, so what did he hold? He held the title for what, 5 to 8 weeks, something like that.
A month.
Yeah. So you know, it feels like it was a very short arc, and to call him the greatest TNT champion, I mean, I know why they're doing it, but stop. Say it once, and you know, but every single time. I mean, if the title actually means something beyond the man, well, then he's not the greatest TNT champion of all time. Right now, Cody is, because he's the 3-time champion. Before that, Miro was, because I think he held the damn thing for 7 months. But I don't know. That you know, again, you said you don't want to shit on it. Neither do I. I don't know. This climate where everybody always wants to sort of out clout chase and out virtue signal each other is, I don't know. It cuts into my entertainment ability.
RJ, what do you think?
I pretty much echo everything Jeff said, man, about the when you do a tribute too much, it gets old, it gets stale, and it's not a tribute anymore. You just used it to get yourself over. The promo, nothing really impressive except for the end line about, you know, MJF being a bigger waste of space and money, just like, you know,
Tim
Tebow. So, yeah, I thought that last line was pretty good knockout. Other than that, same old with Punk at this point.
Right. And then we got a backstage promo, Ricky Starks talking about Will Hobbs, and then continuing through with Dante Martin, blah, blah, blah. They show a recap of Cody Rhodes winning the title. Sammy Guevara comes on, does his picture-in-picture gimmick, so he pretty much doesn't care that he lost. That's basically just AEW. And we get Hikaru Shida video package calling out Serena Deeb. And
you also notice that Sammy Guevara is the only one that's wearing an Inner Circle vest. I mean, Jericho's not, Santana and Ortiz aren't. Jake Hagar hasn't been on TV in 6 months.
Good.
His name hasn't even been mentioned.
Well, that's a modest improvement.
It is, but it's still strange. I mean, you have one of the first signees of AEW in what's supposed to be one of the top factions, and the name isn't mentioned, and none of them are wearing the cut. I mean, the cut's stupid. If they're not together anymore, they're not together. Good, fine. And I don't know if this thing from Sammy was supposed to tell me that Sammy's really serious about it, because it didn't seem that way. But if he is, obviously it's telling you that Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky are just in more losing feuds, so they're just there to be heels. And then maybe Sammy gets it back again. I don't know. Personally, I'd rather see Ethan Page or Scorpio Sky get the title and just see a little bit something different, a little fresh, something unexpected.
Not as long as Cody Cross is around.
If you listen to Cody, he's putting it's for the greater good. He's putting everyone over, and you just don't know it.
Kind of like CM Punk when he elevates talent. Anyways, next we have Brian Pillman Jr. in the ring, talking about his feud with Malachi Black, talking about Griff Garrison. It was a nice promo. The crowd didn't seem like they were that into it until Pillman was getting more fired up. And then challenges Malachi Black to a match next week, which was already announced. The lights go out, and Malachi just stands at the entrance and points at him, and then it was kind of funny. The lights go out again, and then they come back up, and then you can see Black walking to the back.
He's just walking back into the tunnel. What the fuck was that? They would have been better off of, okay, here's how I would have done it. I wouldn't have done this personally. I would have just had Malachi Black just come in and kick his goddamn head off and save us all the time and trouble next week. But that's just me. I would have had Malachi Black, turn off the lights. When the lights came back on, had him in the crowd. Then do the whole light gimmick again, and he would have been gone from the crowd. That was completely stupid what the hell they did tonight. What was that?
It was
amateur hour.
I assume it was a botch of some sort. First of all, Brian Pillman's promo wasn't good. He doesn't make any sense. He's an idiot. He's stupid. Like the words he said, it's like he walked into the House of Black, and then he walked into the House of Black, and then I walked into a kick from the House of Black. But now I'm going to go to the House of Black. Shut up! You don't make any sense. The guy has he has no brain cells. But
his father, he is not.
This is for sure. And yes, the crowd didn't care, and they don't care because they shouldn't care because he's terrible. But
they're job guys. Let's just call it what it is. Him and Griff Garrison are job guys.
Yep.
Yeah, and probably always will be. I'm sure he's regretting the day that he left MLW. He left a surefire thing where he was hidden. Court Bauer took care of him. He hid all his weaknesses and focused on all of his positives, like Paul Heyman does.
Right.
He didn't have him talk. He had Teddy and he had David Bulldog Jr. do all the talking. While Brian said nothing, he pretty much instigated in the background. That was it. And he went out and wrestled.
And Teddy gave him the table weed also. So.
Yeah, of course, yeah. and that was actually on camera too in one of the segments.
Yeah, the money is and the fame is hard to turn down, but they could have done two interesting things if there was supposed to be lights out twice and it just wasn't a botch. One, we've been expecting that new member of the House of Black, Brody King. So lights go out a second time. Brody King is right behind Brian Pillman, and he does whatever his move is on him. And knocks him out. Maybe it's early for that because they want to make it into a tag team. But I sort of get the feeling that they're going to turn one of the varsity blondes into a varsity black, or the lights go off and back on again, and you see Julia Hart, and she's sort of like in an Alexa Bliss kind of fugue stage. Sort of like the black mist is dry on her face, and you can't really tell if she's a hostage or what, but. Of course, Brian Pillman's going to think that she's a hostage and in danger, and that's going to fire him up. But later on, we realize that she's actually converted, and she's part of the House of Black squad. But
she's blacked.
That's what she's been blacked. She's blackish. So
Jeff doesn't get the reference.
I know what blacked is.
Okay, good.
Do you not remember where you know me from? I mean, I was a moderator for a wrestling Facebook page.
All right.
You are correct that I would not have known what the reference was had it not been for that.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Me and RJ have our own little inside jokes about Julie Hart. But go ahead.
But Drew, you're white.
Maybe.
Mm-hmm. All right. Anyway,
only when it's convenient. Only when it's convenient. But go ahead.
I know. Me too. So that is. So that was an awkward segment, and then like the next segment, I can't remember exactly what it is, but it was nearly as awkward as well.
Oh, it was. I have it right here. The Acclaim get a promo ahead of Anthony Bones' match against Darby Allin on Rampage, where he says he'll beat Allin's My Chemical Romance looking ass all over the arena, and then Sting and Darby get their promo, and then Sting says he treats every match like the main event, and Allin says it doesn't matter where he is on the card, he'll be ready. So that's a match.
Wait a minute, you skipped over the most awkward part.
What?
This man, he slapped baby oil on his partner's chest. Like he was getting ready for a black scene. Like, what the hell is going on here? What was that?
Yeah. No, but it was the Darby, the promo. I mean, Darby shouldn't speak as much. The more he speaks, I think the less over he is. The less he speaks, I think the more over he is.
I'm Darby. Yeah. I'm sad. Welcome to my world. I'm twisted. And I like pain.
But isn't that what you expect from a guy like that, though? I would expect a guy that looks like that to talk like that, too, honestly. Like a dullard.
Yeah, but the point is he really shouldn't be talking. Like, just let him... Like, let his actions speak. Let his actions speak for everything. Like, don't let him talk. Period. Have him talk in spurts. You know, Sting is the better talker. You know, compared to Darby. But yeah, Darby just sounds like he just sounds like every emo goth skater kid I've ever met.
And I don't understand the context of the importance of when they're in the main event or not in the main event. I mean, clearly, whatever this is not the main event or wouldn't be the main event on any major card. So what's the difference? I mean, it seemed to be like they just made up a story because they felt like they needed a story to have these two teams fight once.
I don't know. Sting to this day still has a young dude's voice.
Yeah, well, he's got a good voice. Good for him. But I mean, he's not a great promo, but he's fine. And Darby's not. I mean, the Acclaimed. I mean, I thought that My Chemical Romance line was funny. I was wondering how many people in 2022 that are wrestling fans, know what My Chemical Romance is.
They do.
Sort of,
Trust me.
They're old news.
Yeah.
No, Gerard. What's his name? Gerard Way, the lead singer. Like he has a following. He definitely has a following. Like you can. John Draper can attest to that.
I'm sure he can. I don't know what a Gerard Way is, but okay, I don't know that.
He's the lead singer of My Chemical Romance, and he also wrote the Umbrella Academy comic book.
Well, I know the Umbrella Academy, so that's cool. All right. No, listen, I just found the segment to be awkward. I didn't. I mean, the body oil was a little bit, odd, but I know that they're, one of them is openly gay and the other one is openly bisexual. So they're cool with it. I'm cool with it too. I didn't really care about it. That wasn't the part that it wasn't something I was expecting to see, but yeah. That wasn't. It was the Darby portion of it that really killed the segment for me.
Max Caster's a bisexual?
I think so.
I didn't know that. Did you know that, RJ?
I did not actually.
Maybe only one of them is, and the other is straight. I don't really know. I don't really care about people's sexuality.
Yeah. I know Bowens is gay. I know that, but Max Caster I didn't know.
He is very happily gay.
Maybe he's not. Whatever the point is, I don't care.
Whoever floats his boat.
Anyways, let's get to the main event, which is Jeff's favorite part. We have Adam Cole and Red Dragon, Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly versus the Best Friends, Chuck Taylor, Orange Cassidy, and Trent with a question mark. I don't know why.
I don't know. They was calling him Beretta all night.
Well,
I'm looking grown up.
I'm looking on cage side seats, and they have him as Trent with a question mark. I don't fucking know why, but
it's chaos.
It's chaos. It's continuing the feud. Red Dragon comes out with which is what I'm assuming their old theme, because everybody was going nuts about it.
For those 6 seconds they played it.
And then Adam Cole comes out, and the match happened. The match was kind of what you thought it'd be. There was a point where it looked like the Best Friends had the upper hand. The ref got distracted because of Brandon Cutlet, and then the old Twinks came out, and Adam Cole and Red Dragon needed help from the young Twinks, apparently, to beat the Best Friends.
Yeah,
and Kyle got the win for his team, but there was a bit in the match where Kyle is going after Orange Cassidy, but he's right in front of Adam Cole, who's on the apron. Orange Cassidy gets out of the way, and then Kyle ends up kicking Cole off the ring post, so that, not the post, but the apron, and that continues this feud of can they trust each other? Can they coexist? ... And
but it's stupid though, because Cole was the one that brought him there last week anyway. So all of a sudden now he can't trust him. Doesn't make any sense.
Well, they never made it clear that Cole brought him in. They sort of judge act at each other before the Bucks came in, and then they sort of walked out together. I mean, that didn't make any sense.
Cole, the week before, then Cole was like, "I'm bringing a surprise."
Right, he did say, "I'm bringing you guys a present," but he never established that was the present. I mean, the inference is there, but they never finished the loop. I mean, it should be that or not, but they should have told us it. But you're right. I mean, that's the assumption. You're right. It's the whole thing's weird, and it's also stupid because they know exactly when to send Brandon Cutler out. The Bucks know exactly when to walk out. What, they just have they sense a disruption in the force? No, it's because they're watching the match backstage, so they would have seen the kick to Cole's face, and they're acting like they don't know what happened.
Yeah, it's weird. This whole thing. God.
I mean, the less I can see of the less I can see of the Bucks is the better.
Listen, I saw all of this in 2014 through 2016 in Ring of Honor, except there was no Orange Cassidy. I think they had either Will Ferrara or Rocky Romero playing that role. But I mean, I've seen this before. I'm not interested in reruns, and certainly not in wrestling.
Yeah,
I just want to not see Orange Cassidy anymore. Put that motherfucker on Elevation or Dark or whatever their other show is. I'm done. I'm way past done with Orange Cassidy to the point where I'm like, why is he still on main television?
Because the owner is a fan of his. That's why.
It's just,
I don't want to see any of these guys on TV, including Brandon Cutler. Out of this entire crew, the only ones that I'm ever interested in seeing at all are the Young Bucks in normal tag team matches.
I don't even want to see them. It's just Orange Cassidy gets no reaction. He comes out, he gets no reaction. The Best Friends get no reaction.
But people watch. But Orange Cassidy consistently is one of their highest rating drawers.
Is he?
Yeah, which is the weirdest part. No, he is.
Don't ask me to explain it. I can't. I mean, it brings me no pleasure. I wish it was the opposite.
Yeah. It's the truth.
That ruined my night. God damn it.
I mean, I want everyone looking like Lashley, so, I mean, the last thing I want is Orange Cassidy.
Yeah.
I've bought boxes of copy paper thicker than he is.
Yeah. I prefer. My stance on wrestlers have changed over the years. I used to be all for guys that can work now, but being to the fact that everybody named Mom can work and do moonsaults and cartwheels and fucking 360s and 720s and all kinds of degree numbers off the damn top rope. I'm actually wanting to see guys like Wardlow and Cage and Hobbs and even fucking Omos and to a degree, Commander is disease. Like, I want to see guys like that again in wrestling. You know?
I mean, one of the luxuries of having a ridiculously bloated roster with what's got to be close to 200 or 300 wrestlers under some sort of agreement is that you shouldn't get bored seeing the same people over and over again. And I'm seeing the same people over and over again. I mean, AEW is doing the same thing as WWE now. I mean, the style is different and the formula is different, but it's like I see the same people every week. Now, WWE, they fired 200 people and have 12 wrestlers left on each show. So I mean,
they have no choice.
It's a crappy excuse, but they have an excuse. I mean, AEW can be giving me variety all the time, and variety doesn't mean that we don't see. I mean, not that I love these guys, but we don't see Private Party or the Varsity Blondes for 7 months at a time, and then all of a sudden we see them again, and then when we're done with them, then we see 2.0 for 3 months, and then we don't see them again. But we see Bear Country instead for a few weeks, and then we don't see them again for 7 months. I mean, you can rotate things within the show. I mean, for a while it felt like it was Santana and Ortiz we were never seeing, and I'm still not exactly sure what their role is. Except to, maybe drive a wedge between Kingston and Jericho, or Kingston should be the one to finally end the inner circle, which would be fine by me.
Good.
Yes, sir. I'm with that. I don't know if y'all saw what I put on Twitter, but I was like, King and Jericho for the custody of Santana and Ortiz. Give it to me.
God, I would love that. I would love Eddie Kingston if he did that, because fuck the inner circle.
Yeah. I can't stand that. I mean, I love Santana and Ortiz. It's a little biased,
Right.
They're from the Bronx, I'm from Brooklyn, so like there's a little bias there. But I love those guys. Those guys are talented, and they were Impact's top team, which isn't much, but they carried that tag team division, and was some of the best parts about that show for a good period of time when they were over there. And 2 years into the AEW run, and they have nothing to show for it whatsoever. Yeah, Santana might got a nice new fancy car, but besides that, like on TV, accolades wise, he ain't got shit to show for it.
Which is just like on paper, Santana Ortiz, FTR, are the best tag teams in the company.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Young Bucks are just like I said, they have go away heat with me at this point. Like there's very few people in wrestling that have go away heat with me, and all of them are in AEW. Like the Young Bucks shit, I don't want to see. Like at this point, I'd rather see Kenny Omega than the Young Bucks.
Oh God!
And that's how bad it is. And or the Orange Cassidy shit, I'm just like I don't want to see it anymore. But like Jeff said, unfortunately, it's a ratings draw. God knows why. Anything with Jericho is go away heat. Like I said,
I changed the channel.
As soon as I heard that theme play, that Judas theme, I had to mute it.
With the damn fire and everything. That should be more of it should be more of a reason of anything for Santana to turn on fucking Jericho anyways. This man is getting his head caved in with the fucking ring bell, and you over here worried about your music and your fire and shit, getting that all together. Come on, man. Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like
Jericho, oh my God.
It's like Jeff said, it's just like we're getting bored because we're seeing the same people. And,
that's no excuse, man. You got all these, you just signed fucking Jay Lethal. We only saw him one fucking week, and that's it.
Yeah.
It's December going into January.
Where's
Jay Lethal been the last couple of weeks?
Which is why, like, I've been saying, for a while, I don't want Cross going to AEW because they're not gonna know how to handle him, and that's a guy that can be a star anywhere. He should have been a star at WWE, but he wasn't for what sounds like political reasons. But him going to AEW, it's just like I'm scared what they're going to do with him. I'm scared what they're going to do with Scarlett because once he gets there, he's just going to be lost in the shuffle. And his biggest feud is probably going to be against Cody, and he might get a win or two, but he's going to job against Cody. He's going to be put somewhere with Jericho for whatever reason. It's just like I've been arguing with people on Twitter, like, I don't want Cross going to AEW. I really don't. Like, honestly, I'd rather see him go back to WWE, and that could be a possibility. I mean, because look what happened to Drew. But and Cross is making the transition to Hollywood. He mentioned his what his movie is going to be, but he couldn't really say too much. But just, I don't know. Like, I'm AEW's getting there for me, where it's just like the good stuff is good and the bad stuff is really bad.
Huh.
And
it's pretty much that's pretty much for WWE too. I mean, that's how I look at both of them. That's why I can never cheerlead one side, like other people do. Because you got good and you got bad. Like, you would have to be delusional to think that everything is sweet on one show. It's not the case. That's just not the case. And tonight, I thought it was more bad than good on the show.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
For a holiday show that they gave a title New Year's Bash, and it was supposed to be presented like a big show feel. It was a very little show return.
I agree. Not a very good show tonight. But let's get to the big show of tonight.
Yeah, the awards.
The 4th annual Yari Year-End Awards. Did one last year with RJ. Now Jeff Lippman is on, so it's a big show. Big show, boys. You guys already got your choices?
Sure.
That sounds very optimistic, Jeff. But let's get into the first category. First category is Breakout Star of the Year. Before I give who the winner is and the nominees, who would you guys pick as your Breakout Star of the Year? Whoever wants to start.
You go ahead, Jeff.
Okay, we did this last week on Hammerlock Hangover, and I want to know how you define Breakout Star of the year. Because if you're talking about it sort of like Rookie of the Year, sort of the new star, or somebody who you think was in a position where they didn't really feel like a star, now all of a sudden they're a star. Because I went with the latter, because I couldn't really think of a new star. I mean, even if you don't mean rookie, like 4 months ago, I would have said Damian Priest, but the last 4 months have been lame. I think probably 97% of the internet world would have been saying Dante Martin. There'll probably be a bunch of dopes talking about the name that we're not allowed to say here just because the last 3 weeks. But I thought that Dante Martin's storytelling has been so weird, and really he did nothing the first half of the year, and the end of the year with Dante has been very odd. So, I actually went with Mandy Rose because she was just a name. She was just part of an ensemble. And then one day she's on NXT, and it's like, why is she on NXT? And it's like, a character. It seems like she's just doing the same character as Frankie Monet. And then it's like, yeah, but she's doing it better. And as far as I'm concerned, Mandy Rose is the face of NXT right now. She's who I think of when I think of NXT, not Braun Breaker. I actually have lots of reservations about Braun Breaker. So I don't know. I know it's weird for someone who's been on primetime TV for several years, but I sort of like Blonde Ambition, or that's why I called her and Dana. Fire and Desire had their moments, but I don't know, this whole thing with Toxic Attraction. It's a whole nother level. It's like she's just turned into a badass. She just screams star now.
I mean, that's a good choice. I mean, my definition of breakout is just who's had a big year for somebody who's kind of new. Like new to a single scene. With Mandy, I'm not disagreeing with your choice. I think that's a good choice. I like Mandy. I love Mandy. I've always been a fan of Mandy. I always thought she had untapped potential. And then she went to NXT because she was just, I mean, I don't know the story behind it, but I'm assuming, basically she was like, I want to learn how to wrestle. Like, I don't just want to look good. I want to look good in the ring. So I would say she's more so most improved, if that's fair.
It's your show and it's your awards and your category. I mean, if the criteria was somebody new, that sort of exploded on the scene, but not, Braun Breaker is a little bit new for that. Maybe Carmelo Hayes.
Okay, it's not a bad choice. RJ, what do you think? Your choice.
Shoot. Breakout Star 2021. Who's a breakout star? Who is somebody that I feel is a breakout star? I would agree with most improved with Mandy. Mandy to me is most improved. Jeff, I agree with you there. Toxic Attraction for me, especially her and Gigi in specifics, I think are running shit. You know what I'm saying? Like they are piquing my interest down there. As far as Breakout goes, damn, like it's really tough because Jeff, I'm a little old school. Like I like the whole total package, whereas everybody else they just care about the in-ring stuff. But I like work, character, mic work, like all that stuff matters to me. Who's done that for me? That's new. I just can't put my finger on one person.
I mean, there's no wrong answer, definitely.
Yeah, of course. But you know me, I like to be on my shit. You know.
Commander Aziz, obviously.
Commander Aziz.
I mean, I guess if you want to, I mean, if I was to pick someone who's a breakout star and is new and a new wrestler, it would be almost right. I mean, he's the closest to a superstar. I mean, he's not a great wrestler. He probably never will be, but he's fine for his size.
Right. Like Omos would definitely be one. He's to me he's done fine. He's been fine more than he's been embarrassing. He hasn't been embarrassing yet. So yeah, I mean, I would go with Omos. I don't count somebody like Carmelo Hayes because in my mind I've followed him in his indie career, so he's not really anything he's doing now. It's not new to me.
I agree. I know what you're saying. I mean, wrestling's a weird business, and it's been a weird year because there's been a lot of stops and starts for people, promotions. NXT, basically folded and rebranded. I mean, there's just so many people got released, and then so many people got, absorbed into other promotions. It's almost like no one got that rhythm to, be on the runway and take all the way off. So so that's why I went with sort of an unorthodox pick. But, as I think about it a little bit more to meet Drew's definition, which, I think is, Rookie of the Year, as I think what probably most people really do think about when they think breakout star. I mean, almost is the closest to me.
Right.
I mean, good choices. I'm kind of conflicted because. Go ahead.
I think Commander Aziz is awful, by the way.
Yeah,
he makes goofy faces. Like he does not look threatening whatsoever. Yeah, sure, he's like 7 foot tall, but he's awful.
I've been looking the last two shows, and I see Shanky is employed and Commander Aziz is employed. Yet Braun Strowman was released.
Yeah, Stanky, as we like to call him over here.
Don't forget about Veer. What about Veer, huh?
Well, Veer he's literally in parts unknown.
But going to go back to what I was saying, like, I'm conflicted because I like what they're doing. I like Steiner. Like, that's a guy who, to my knowledge, never wrestled like in an indie faction or anywhere else, but he seems like he gets it right off the bat. Almost I like a lot because for a big guy, he works like a big guy. He works like how a big guy should. I like his facials. Him on the mic works because, again, he talks like a big guy. He doesn't try to do too much. And granted, like the big guy route in WWE, in like 5 years, he's going to be doing the Cabbage Patch like the Big Show. So, but that's, the inevitable. So, I like what they're doing with him. I think he can be something in this company. I mean, does he need to do, Red Dragon Suplex then, 580, Falcon? Like, no, he doesn't need to do that. He needs to just be a fucking big guy. Austin Theory is another guy I've been high on. I like and I don't like what he's been doing on the main roster because the whole thing with Vince is weird. Like, I don't understand it. But they obviously see something in him because he's getting a lot of TV time. He's getting matches, his first week on the main roster, he gets a match against, he was in the Survivor Series match, and then he was like one of the final people for Team Raw. And then the very next night, he ends up getting a match against Big E for the title. And it was a pretty good match from what I remember. So, I don't know. Like, I'm just going to say fuck it. I'm going to go with Braun Breaker. That's my choice for Breakout Star of the Year. I agree with Jeff. I think Manny Rose has vastly improved since going to NXT. I like Toxic Attraction. I like Gigi Dolan for, reasons. She's obviously very talented in the ring. I like her in the ring. I like her facials, and I like other things about her. But we'll get into that for RJ's personal award for later in the show. But my nominees, these are my personal nominees, so don't bite my head off, people. I put Braun Breaker, Omos, Santos Escobar, Liv Morgan, Austin Theory, Joe Gacy, Shotzi Blackheart, and Carmelo Hayes. And there was a tie. Braun Breaker and Omos are tied for Breakout Star of the Year. So they can share the award with each other.
Those lucky fellas.
Lucky fellas. Next is Tag Team of the Year. And fuck, there's another tie. But who would you guys choose as your Tag Team of the Year? Whoever wants to start.
As far as like consistency, somebody who's been delivering and who is in a team that's continuously looking to evolve and is in the middle of evolving, I would go with MSK, man. They came in hot, won the Dusty Cup, won the tag team titles not too long after that. Put on great matches despite, the crowd like poo-pooing on them and shit like that, which was not their fault whatsoever. And then, they lost the belts, and now they're on a journey to, reclaiming those belts with Riddle, which is pretty entertaining to me. So I have to go with MSK.
All right, good choice. What do you think, Jeff? What's your choice? Or who's your choice?
I'm thinking there's really only two teams that are seriously in the conversation. And one is the RK Bros. They're about one of the only acts that's over in WWE. Period. One of those surprising, the mismatched teams that works and still manages to entertain and sometimes be endearing and sometimes be clever. Yes, there's plenty of misses, but there's a lot of hits also. Hits, that's a Riddle joke. And thank you. Holding titles, and the other team, I'm sorry, Drew, but it's the Bucks. They were the AEW champions for a large part of the year. They're always in some sort of storyline. I understand that they're EVP, so they can book themselves to be as such. But FTR sort of had sort of a weird year, mired a lot in sort of inner circle stuff with America's top team, and doing some AAA things and sort of being in some, basically comedy match stuff, as well. And, the Lucha Brothers, they have the titles, but do they really feel like the champions? They don't really feel like the champions to me.
No, they don't.
Mm-mm.
They don't.
Yeah. And I mean, really the interpreter, I don't know why they need obviously it's because he's a friend of someone, so they gave him a job. They don't need an interpreter, one, because Pentagon speaking Spanish is cool and everyone knows what he's saying. He just needs to say Cero Miedo less because it's getting old. Well, it got old about 4 years ago. But because his brother is fluent and is his partner. So, but they've also been in this, triad thing with Pat, sometimes, not sometimes, yes, no, maybe.
Yeah, I know, right?
Friends with Kingston, not friends with Kingston. So I went with the Bucks because I think that this year, I went with the Bucks because say what you will about AEW and tag teams and tag team wrestling and not having rules and this, that, and the other thing, but they do have 40 tag teams. So at least they care about tag team wrestling. Where WWE, they might have 7 tag teams total if you include the mismatched teams, and you've got their singles title holders being involved in tag team programs. It's like they don't care about tag teams, but they don't defend the singles titles, but they cut tag teams, women's and men. So I'm not going to reward to the extent that my reward on your show carries any weight, but I'm not going to reward a company with a tag team honor for a company that doesn't honor tag teams. So I'm going to go with the Young Bucks. Sorry.
Oh boy. I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to go with RK Bro. They've been a consistently entertaining tag team for me, and it's a team that you didn't know was going to be as entertaining as it was. You know, it's similar to the Rock and Sock connection. You know, Randy Orton being the Rock, where he thinks he's too good for everybody, and Matt Riddle being the Goofus, and it works. You know, they have good chemistry. I like it. I'm digging it. I'm also digging, the MSK stuff, with Matt Riddle. And now that means we get Walter for the next, NXT show. NXT New Year's Evil. So I'm looking forward to that. That's my choice. Again, there's really no right or wrong answer with this. So let's go to the nominees. These are my nominees. RK Bro, FTR, Young Bucks, Usos, New Day, Imperium, Lucha Bros, and MSK. There is another tie. RK Bro and FTR. So, fans voted, so they can pick up their trophies. And let's go to, I don't know if we should start out with best or worst. Let's do worst. Worst female wrestler of the year. Jesus Christ with these ties. All right.
Jeff, you want to kick that off?
Jeff's going to be like, everybody. No.
There's been a lot. I mean, does she even count as a wrestler? Ava Marie. I mean, first of all of the apologists and nonsense people saying, give her a chance. She's been training really hard for 3 years. She might be great. And just the whole thing was just a bad joke to begin with. And then she got released, basically 6 months later. She's hardly even a wrestler. So, it's almost like too easy that it's a cop-out, but Ava Marie, because she's terrible. And she should be someone that I should like to see. Like, she wouldn't need to do a lot for me to be interested in watching her.
Right.
Yet I wasn't.
RJ, what about you?
Tamina Snuka. Good Lord. Off, just bad. You can tell she's beat up, but yet and all they still insist on having her try to have matches. And her run with Natty was just how many nightmares I had with that, Drew.
Yeah, we're not big Natty fans on this show.
I'm not a big Tamina fan either. I hate them both.
God, I'm still
plenty of choices in this category.
Oh yeah.
My choice. I'm gonna go with Jeff Lippman on this one. Eva Marie.
Oh.
She was just
even over Jade Cargill.
I'd choose Jade Cargill over Eva Marie.
Jade's not even the worst on the AEW.
I mean, there's a lot of bad women on AEW, but Jade I don't even think is that bad. But I'm gonna go with my nominees. I'm gonna have to change some people, but Nia Jax was one of them. Eva Marie, Dana Brooke, Lacey Evans, Carmella, Indy Hartwell, Zelina Vega, and Tamina.
Oh.
The winner, Nia Jax.
I'm not like most girls.
You know what? That was going to be one of my choices too. It almost felt cruel, and at least she tried to wrestle occasionally.
Yeah, but she was just...
I do not disagree with the fans.
The fans are usually never wrong.
Yeah, I just edged to someone who had no business period being in there and didn't even pretend to try.
I don't know. She's supposed to be spilling tea pretty soon. I don't know when that's going to happen.
Oh God.
I mean, she should be losing weight. Anyways,
good Lord.
Let's go to the best.
Jesus Christ, dude.
The best female wrestler of the year. Pretty sure Jeff is going to have fun with this. Jeff Lippman, why don't you tell us who you thought was your favorite female wrestler of the year?
My favorite?
Or who do you think was the best? Who do you think was the best?
the best is Charlotte. I mean, I don't really care what anyone says. The best is Charlotte. Who's second best is the topic of the conversation. But if you are more character driven or entertaining speaking segments, it's hard to argue with Britt Baker. I was on board the Brit Express from the Jericho Cruise 2 years ago, not 1 year ago. So I was early on heel Britt Baker, being all about that when everyone's giving a grief for making fun of Shivani for being a barista. But yeah, no, it's Charlotte. I know she gets a lot of hate. She's always got a title. She's always getting a push. She just made poor Tony Storm cry. Whatever. That just adds to her successful year. She so belittled and devastated and destroyed and embarrassed Tony Storm. And or in real life, Tony Storm was so bad that Charlotte said, I cannot work with this anymore. If you want to saddle me with this for the next 6 months, I'm not going to be responsible for what the audience sees. And they said, she's gone. So I'm going to go with Charlotte. She's so powerful. She ended Tony Storm's career.
All right. RJ.
Good Lord.
Your choice.
As far as the best, for me as a guy that always tries to enjoy women's wrestling a little bit more better than my good friend Jeff there. I've seen some bright spots this year. Britt Baker, Charlotte. As far as cutting promos and character work, which, like I said, is important to me too. I've been digging what Zelina Vega's been doing the last couple of months. What else? Not particularly in the ring, but as far as verbally and trying to be somewhat of a presence despite her size. Dude, there's nobody really that's really impressed me this year. I mean, Sasha and Bianca had a nice match, but that was just that was what one match and that was it. To me, neither one of them really had a great match since. I don't know. I just don't know. There's another thing, like Jeff said earlier, it's a lot of starts and stops. Nobody really had a nice, consistent run this year. But Charlotte was gone at the beginning of the year, that she came back, that she was left off the WrestleMania card. Sasha, once again, here today, gone tomorrow. So it's just it's hard to really pinpoint somebody who's had a good year this year as far as the women go. I would go with Bianca Baler off the top of my head due to success. She won the Rumble, main event at WrestleMania, won the title. But then her run was kind of bad at the same time, And Britt Baker, great verbally, but it's just it gets kind of repetitive with her too. So I just don't know. I can't pinpoint one single person.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. It's just if we're talking about the most over woman, Britt Baker is probably the most over.
I agree with that. I would agree with that.
If we're talking about the best technician or best one in the ring, or who's ever had a big year, I would say Bianca. Again, won the Rumble, main event in Mania, and then she won the title, and Becky came in and just completely squashed it. So I don't know. I'm gonna be like RJ. I'm probably gonna go with Bianca because she had a bigger year. But my nominees, I had 16 nominees, a sweet 16. Bianca Belair, Asuka, Britt Baker, Thunder Rosa, Charlotte, Bayley, Io Shirai, Sasha Banks, Hikaru Shida, Rhea Ripley, Raquel Gonzalez, Mandy Rose, Shotzi Blackheart, Becky Lynch, Ruby Soho, and Liv Morgan. The fans voted for Bianca Belair. So
I can't go against that.
Yeah, I think it's a good pick.
So let's go with worst male wrestler of the year. Let's pick on the guys.
Oh, good Lord.
Who would you guys say is the worst male wrestler of 2021?
Fuck Taylor, good Lord.
Chuck Taylor.
That gut, that goofy haircut. Like, how you going bald and still have the little comb over haircut? Come on, man. You gotta get rid of that shit, bro. Just go bald. Do like Trent. At least Trent still had all his hair before he cut it. Hey, shit. Take some notes. And also get in the gym, too. God damn it.
Jeff.
I mean, I'm not Mr. Olympia myself, but I did lose like 60 pounds this year. So, like, I mean, shit. But, I mean, still, like, come on, man. You gotta, I mean, Tony Khan's not paying me millions of dollars to be on television either. So, like, shit. Come on, Chuck. What kind of name is that anyway? Chuck Taylor. What the fuck?
It's Fuck Taylor.
God damn it.
Jeff.
I'd rather my name be Fuck Taylor, too, because at least I can work with that. I'm going to fuck your wife. I'm going to fuck your wife. I'm going to fuck your wife. Yeah. You see that? Yeah, that's going to fuck your wife tonight. At least I can run with that, but Chuck Taylor? Oh, God. I scream Shindy.
My name's Fuck Taylor. I'm about to fuck your wife.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Jeff, what do you think? What's your choice for worst male wrestler of the year?
There's a lot of bad wrestlers out there. There's a lot of bad male wrestlers. There's a lot of bad male wrestlers on the AEW roster every single week. I mean, Evil Uno comes to mind as someone who should never be on TV. Frankly, most of the Dark Order. Private Party, I think they're absolutely awful.
I do too, which sucks because they trained around the corner from my old hood. So it sucks to say, you know, home turf, but I agree. They have not been good, not whatsoever.
I mean, Matt Hardy for me is painful to watch. He's changing child. There's bad wrestlers in plenty of places, but I have to grade this on a curve as to someone that I feel like I'm forced to see way too often, and is by far the worst spot on what's otherwise usually a pretty good product, and that's Baron Corbin. He's just terrible. He's painful to watch. Like, he was like almost entertaining me for 4 weeks.
Oh, with the bum stuff.
Yeah,
that was good. That was good.
that was he still the obnoxious bum, and like that was good. It was
really good.
That 1 to 2 months was good, and they had to ruin that too. Like I said, if something works, they got to fucks with it, and then they put Riddick Moss and turned him into Madcap Moss and made him like an incorrigible, like cartoon hyena. So
that's exactly what he looks like too. He looks like a hyena.
Yeah, I mean, and it's not much different than their counterparts that they're playing with right now, Nakamura and Boogs. But I don't know, Baron Corbin, just everything about him, his look. He's on the AEW fitness plan. His stupid tattoos, the clothes he wears, the way he wears his clothes, his delivery. I mean, there's just nothing I like about Baron Corbin.
My choice for worst male wrestler of the year. I hate to kick a man while he's down, but Jon Moxley.
Oh.
He has had bad matches all year. Like he hasn't really. It's not that he's bad. He's boring in the ring because it seems like his punches aren't landing, and it seems like he's moving at a snail's pace. And I mean, we probably know why because he's currently in rehab. But it's just like Dean Ambrose and Jon Moxley is like night and day. Dean Ambrose was much more entertaining to watch than Jon Moxley, in my opinion. And I'm pretty sure if Jeff's friend Steve was here, he'd be like, But we'll talk about that later. But yeah, Jon Moxley is my choice, who I think is the worst male wrestler of the year. Here are the nominees: the Great Eight: Matt Hardy, Baron Corbin, Braun Strowman, Chris Jericho, Dominic, Jinder Mahal,
oh God,
Jackson Riker, and Jon Moxley. The winner of this award. The winner of this award, Jeff, let me actually mention him, Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy is the worst wrestler of 2021.
Oh my God.
You need to send the congratulations to Matt, and especially to Rebby.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure I'll get an interesting response from Rebby. But yeah, Matt, come pick up your reward or whatever.
Who the fuck does this guy Drew Yari think he is talking about my man like that? Bitch, you better come correct.
Who the hell is Drew Yari anyway?
Who's this fucking guy?
Who's this fucking guy talking about me and my 6 kids?
Oh my god.
Pulling out. Matt Hardy doesn't even know what pulling out means.
I don't think Matt Hardy has a choice with those bad hips he's got.
Oh my god.
Those bitches be clicking the times he coming down that ramp.
He's literally just wooden in the bedroom, and by wooden I mean
the Beer City Bruiser is more nimble.
Beer City Bruiser, but at least Beer City Bruiser kind of embraces what he is. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's still disgusting. I mean, my God, cosmetically, I'm sorry, I'm old school, man. I grew up in the late '90s, early 2000s. Where
I agree.
So let's go to the best male wrestler of 2021. Gentlemen, who do you think, in your opinion, was the best male wrestler of 2021?
From January 1st to December 31st, which we're not quite at, from beginning to end, it's got to be Roman Reigns.
Good. RJ, your choice. Uh-oh.
Consistency is the key here. I gotta go with to me in my mind. I'm not really big fans of both of these guys, but Roman Reigns and Kenny Omega. Even though Omega did take he's been gone for the last month now, but I mean those guys were consistently putting in the matches, defending titles, and putting in work. And I gotta give the Devils that do. You can't cheat them for the year they both had. Roman lasted a whole lot longer, so you would have to give the nod more to Roman. But yeah, I would say Kenny and Roman. And y'all know how much how much I don't like Kenny Omega. Roman Reigns, I don't mind Roman, but it's Kenny Omega's just, ugh.
You sound like a commercial for the new competition for Trojans. Roman lasts much longer.
that needs to be his shirt. That needs to be his shirt. I last a lot longer.
With the little Trojan sign.
Give the knob to Roman.
I'm the head of the table.
That's
Get
right.
it? Oh man. Anyways, my choice, Roman Reigns, definitely. From beginning to end, Mr. Consistency has had better matches, bigger moments. Roman. The nominees, the Sweet 16, Roman Reigns, Bobby Lashley, CM Punk, Darby Allin, Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre, Miro, Kenny Omega, Adam Page, Tommaso Ciampa, Finn Balor, MJF, Randy Orton, Big E, Bryan Danielson, and Edge, and the winner is Roman Reigns. Yeah.
Good.
All right, so let's get to the top. The worst match of the year. What is if you guys had to choose anything, what was your choice for the worst match of the year?
Does it have to be on a big stage?
No.
All right. You know what? I'm going to make it a big stage because I think that the Jon Moxley Minoru Suzuki match was so hyped and it was so terrible and everyone pretended how good it was just because of what it meant or what it was supposed to mean. Mm-hmm. That it was terrible. Maybe closely followed by Ishii's match. The one I was thinking of that was on a very small stage but was terrible, but at Final Battle, Roxy retaining her Ring of Honor Women's Championship against Willow, that was one of the worst professional wrestling matches I have ever seen, and that includes indie shows. And that was a pay-per-view.
Jesus.
All right, RJ.
The worst match of the year was that goddamn. Once again, this is on the smallest stage. was the battle riot from MLW. I thought it was bad.
Oh, it
Besides
was bad.
Besides
You're
the
right.
winner choice, which Hammerstone, I'm a big fan of Alexander Hammerstone. I'm glad he won it. And obviously he's the champion now. But that was a bad match. They had a lot of filler guys in there. I mean, they was digging guys off the street, man. They had this fat guy. What was his name? Caveman or some shit.
they brought in 3 jobbers like the Sioux Sentai Death Squad guys who, no idea who they were. I think one might have been what's his name, Saint Laurent. I think one of them might have actually been Saint Laurent.
Right.
And the other one looked like Cesar Bononi with a mask on. And then they had some small Asian guy who, had some name, but I had never seen or heard of before.
Yeah, Tristan Tai. They call him Ikuru Kwan over there.
Yes.
He's actually pretty good. He wrestles a lot in the Northeast. He's actually pretty good, but he's a middleweight, cruiserweight type wrestler. He's not going to be anybody that's going to blow anybody away.
Yeah, he was there to take the torture rack. But the other thing is that I no longer like EJ Nduka. Like, he's my enemy now, so he looked really bad in that match as well.
Yeah, it was just a lot of stuff. Yeah, MLW. I love MLW, but the War Chamber and the Battle Riot was kind of bad.
You loved MLW. You don't love it anymore.
Yeah, this year's been kind of wonky for me, and they're trying to integrate Lucha Underground elements into it now, and I'm just like, no, don't do it, please, no. I can't have any murders on, no. So it's just, I think I have a bad feeling it's only going to get worse from here.
I think you're right. Now I'm okay with murders. I don't know, the magic, the whole thing, the Dario Katrina thing. It's not the same.
Yeah.
All right. So for me, I kind of went a different route. Whereas, not so much the match was bad. Okay, the match had to be bad, but it was more so disappointing because it could have been a lot more and also led to something a lot worse. So I have a few choices. So, Karrion Kross's match with Jeff Hardy on Raw, where he said it was supposed to be 10 minutes and then it got cut down to 90 seconds, and people like us already knew it was bad news, and he even admitted himself he knew right then and there he kind of dug himself a hole that he wasn't going to get out. So that match was bad. Randy Orton's match with The Fiend at WrestleMania, because the Fiend should have went over. And, Bray Wyatt is over, like we're over. He's always going to be over. And then they decided...
Well, now we know why he didn't go over. Because he wasn't going to be here tomorrow.
Right. And then, they give his gimmick to Alexa Bliss for whatever reason. Those are bad matches. And there's another one I had on the tip of my tongue, and I'm trying to remember. Samoa Joe's match with Cross was just bad because Joe is not the Joe of old. He's not.
I'm surprised neither one of you guys brought it up. The match, Kenny Omega, John Moxley.
Only the end was bad. The match itself wasn't bad. The end was bad. It's a spectacularly bad end, but I don't know. I just felt that there were matches that were bad from bell to bell.
Right. But yeah, if I had to pick one out of that batch that I just, spouted off, I would say Cross and Jeff Hardy. Because
I know one bad match from 2021 that nobody's probably ever going to even think of.
Huh.
No, Luchasaurus versus Cesar Bononi. The AEW.
They will, because it was replayed on Twitter a million times, but yeah. No.
Oh, that was bad. No. Luchasaurus says, go over there.
I tried to pick a match with, some, importance.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, God. But here are the nominees. Or my nominees, I would say. Randy Orton versus Alexa Bliss at Fastlane.
Oh, God.
Randy Orton versus The Fiend at Mania. Cross versus Hardy on the July 19th episode of Raw. Paul White versus QT Marshall at All Out.
Well...
Damian Priest versus The Miz at WrestleMania Backlash with the Zombies.
Oh, God.
Ooh.
I forgot all about that.
Alexa Bliss versus Ava Marie at SummerSlam. Inner Circle versus America's Top Team and Men of the Year at Full Gear.
Oh, God.
And then The Rock's 25th anniversary Battle Royal for pizza. The fans voted Randy Orton versus Alexa Bliss at Fastlane.
Yeah, that's a pretty good choice.
Yeah,
So-
it was bad. I mean, we knew that was going to be bad, though. Like, was anybody really expecting anything great out of that? I knew it was going to be Gaga.
But it wasn't even that creative. It's like they booked themselves into a corner and you know how like on Top Chef they tell you if you know the dish isn't good, just don't serve the plate. They should have just canceled the match. Card subject to change. Nobody paid to see that match. Nobody pays to see pay-per-views anyway on the WWE. They're all watching on Peacock. I think any of the Orton Fiend universe, trilogy or quadrology matches were very solid choices.
Right, and then the end of the match, Alexa Bliss sits on Randy Orton, and
straddles Randy Orton's cock.
yeah, Randy Orton the whole time has to be thinking, okay, dead puppies, dead puppies, dead puppies, dead puppies.
Randy Orton's got his shit on lockdown. Don't worry about him.
Yeah, his wife
His wife don't play no games either.
yeah, she said straight up, Alexa Bliss, what the fuck. But all right, best match of the year. So, gentlemen, I heard Jeff's choice on Hammerlock Hangover, but enlighten us. Who would you say is your favorite match of the year?
I liked Edge, Bryan, then Daniel Bryan, Roman Reigns, Triple Threat, WrestleMania. I thought it was clever. I thought the choreography was very good. The timing was perfect. It was the last match of the second night of a very long WrestleMania, and I still thought it was a great match, which means it was probably 4 times better than I remember it. Because by that time I was way past not caring about wrestling. That was my match of the year. I thought it was really well done.
All right, good choice. RJ.
I have to go with Bryan Danielson versus Hangman Page from a couple weeks ago. I thought that match was good from top to bottom. It piqued my interest. It kept my interest. Didn't look away. Didn't have to go to the bathroom. I didn't even touch my phone. Like, I was locked in on it. And it was a really good match, man. Like you say what you want about Bryan or about Hangman, but they really went out there and they wrestled. They wrestled and they had a great fucking match, man. One of the best I've seen all year. In a year of, a lot of people are putting over GCW and a lot of that sloppy ass matches and shit like that. And it's just like, whatever. WWE hasn't, in my mind, put anything on that really piqued my interest like that. And plus, like, I could blame it on work too, because on certain pay-per-views I do miss certain things, and I like instant gratification. One of those people who like to see something very, very, in real time. And if I don't, like, I'm kind of killed. The mood is killed for me. But that triple threat with Bryan and Edge and Roman was good too. Like, it was, to me, that's a close second. There were certain points in that match where you're like, okay, like, maybe that guy can win or maybe that guy can win. It wasn't a surefire thing where Roman was going to walk out of the match with the title. And those, to me, are some of the best matches where both of the competitors feel like they have a chance, all of us are, we're grown-ass men, and, we're at that point where maybe we can see somebody winning from a mile ahead, And sometimes it's nice to sit back and watch two guys wrestle and not know who's going to win this matchup. Because it can go either way because it feels like both guys have a chance.
Good choices. I have two, actually.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite was Walter versus Dragunov at TakeOver. It wasn't too shindy, and that's usually the worry. That's my biggest gripe about a lot of modern wrestling is that it's too shindy. Everything has to be no sell. Let's do our finisher 5,000 times, and with this match, it was just two guys beating the fuck out of each other. It was simple.
Yeah,
and I like Dragunov. I wasn't a big Dragunov fan before this match. I liked him a lot more after this match. And Walter, I'm a big fan of. So I liked it. It was kind of an old school wrestling match.
Right.
And
I like Dragunov too. I think Dragunov is good. He brings the right amount of intensity to the point where it doesn't feel goofy with him. Like you feel like he's a bomb ready to go off. And the way he even beat Walter in that match, if you remember, he was chopping him in the throat. Chopping him in the back of the neck and the head. So he made that win look believable when you beat him. Right. Whereas, a lot of other people, especially if you're a size queen, like that's not believable. But if you chop somebody in their fucking neck and throat over and over again, they're not breathing. They're going to be hurting like a motherfucker. You have no choice but to give up at that point. You know what I'm saying? So, he beat him in the most logical way possible. Right. And that's what had needed to be taken care of if somebody was going to beat Walter for that belt, especially somebody that was going to be smaller than them,
And then my second choice, I think we all agree on this, is Roman versus Bryan and Edge at Mania because, again, you have three guys in there that can make the match work. Bryan, to me, was the glue of the match. Because I think if it ended up being just Roman and Edge, it wouldn't have been as good. Bryan being in there made the match so much better because Bryan is just so fucking good. And
plus, Bryan is probably willing to take the bumps that maybe Edge can't or won't take,
Yeah.
So, I just thought that Bryan's inclusion in that match is very smart for different reasons.
Yeah, and Bryan he makes everything better. You put him in any situation, it's always going to work. And I had mixed feelings about the match with Adam Page, and I won't really get into too many of them, but I didn't think the match was terrible. I thought it was great because, again, Bryan Danielson is just so fucking good. I thought the match might have exposed Adam Page a little bit because Adam Page is better suited for 15 to 20 minute matches, more so brawls, and not 60-minute Broadways. And not to say he didn't do a good job in the match, it just exposed him a little bit.
Not everybody's meant for that,
right? And then
there's only a special amount of people that have a deep enough arsenal to go 60 minutes. Hey, conditioning goes into that shit as well. Bryan's been doing that shit a long time.
Right.
60-minute Broadways, him and fucking Davey Richards, Eddie Edwards, the whole Ring of Honor list, you know what I'm saying? They can all go that distance. Not everybody's cut out for that.
Right. But here are my nominees. Just bear with me. These choices were made officially at the beginning of December, so there might be some matches missing. But here are my nominees: the Sweet 16, Walter versus Dragunov at TakeOver 36, Britt Baker versus Thunder Rosa on the March 17th episode of AEW Dynamite in the Lights Out non-sanctioned match. Bianca Baler versus Sasha Banks at Mania. Roman versus Bryan versus Edge at Mania. Charlotte versus Becky Lynch at Survivor Series. The SmackDown Elimination Chamber match from the Elimination Chamber.
Oh yeah, it's a good match.
Walter versus Tommaso Ciampa. Let's see, where else am I at? Yeah, Walter versus Tommaso Ciampa, NXT Stand and Deliver. Damian Priest and Bad Bunny versus Miz and Morrison at Mania, which showed that Bad Bunny can actually work. Roman Reigns versus Daniel Bryan on the April 30th episode of SmackDown, which ended up being Bryan's last match on WWE. CM Punk versus Darby Allin at All Out. Lucha Bros versus Young Bucks at All Out. Roman Reigns versus Bobby Lashley versus Big E on the September 20th episode of Raw. Kenny Omega versus Bryan Danielson on the September 22nd episode of Dynamite. Seth Rollins versus Edge, Hell in a Cell, Crown Jewel. Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar, Crown Jewel. And MJF versus Darby Allin at Full Gear.
Okay.
And the fans chose Walter versus Dragunov at TakeOver.
Wow. Well deserved. Good match. Especially that fucking ending was so genius. Like I appreciate that hell out of it. It was different. Like I said, very logical.
Yep.
Yeah.
I have to change this shit again.
Mm-hmm. How many more categories do we have? Okay.
Yeah. Geez, Drew.
All right, now it's working.
Great.
Yeah, I have no idea what happened. It just said there was a problem with my microphone. I have no idea why, but anyways, I'm back. But yeah, those are the categories. Those are the Yari Year-End Awards. RJ wanted to add his own nominee, so RJ, explain to the folks at home what your nominee choice is.
So we have this one of my friends on Twitter, Mari, shout out to her. She came up with this term a while back called shaboinka, and the meaning of that is chicks with nice ass. That's pretty much what a shaboinka is. So I jokingly asked Drew earlier if we could have a shaboinka of the year category this year. And who do you guys think has the best shaboinka?
What's a shaboinka in middle-aged white man?
A chick with a nice ass in wrestling, in this case.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna go with my girl Mandy.
Mandy. Hey, you cannot go wrong with that. Mandy Rose, I'm telling you, man. Ever since she dyed that hair black,
Boy.
I'm looking at her in a whole totally different way. Like, I always thought she was gorgeous and everything like that, but she never really, caught my, do double takes at her like that. But now, holy shit. I seen that bikini picture she posted last week. I was like, God damn. Mandy?
Yeah. I mean, there's plenty of good choices in that, but I mean, total package. I mean, but just on the cakes alone, I'm comfortable with my answer.
What about you, Drew?
I mean, Mandy's not a bad answer. She definitely got some cake. I mean, Bailey's always been my girl.
Yeah.
I mean, there's literally an episode I did where it's titled "Bailey's Got a Fat Ass." That's how much I love Bailey.
She didn't wrestle this year.
Huh?
She didn't wrestle this year.
I mean, she's still my girl. Come on. Gigi Dolan looks like she's kind of taking that spot because I never knew that she had cake like that. Cora Jade looks like she's kind of taking that spot a little bit because she's got a little badonky dock on her. So, fuck, I'm gonna have to go with Gigi, man. That's fucking ridiculous how fat her ass is.
Okay, listen to you. It sounds like you're smitten.
Very smitten. What else can we do? I mean, do you guys have any predictions for the new year? Or things you would want to happen?
My God, I have no idea. The wrestling world is so confusing. What are my predictions? A lot of hyperbolic exuberance over little things. Some promotion, like a Ring of Honor, either folds or gets sold to somebody else. And whatever this 15 minutes that GCW is enjoying right now ends, fades just as fast.
All right. RJ, what about you? RJ.
He's gone.
Where the fuck did RJ go? God damn it. Let me try to add him back real quick. Okay, I'm trying to add him in. Hold on. I have no idea what happened to RJ.
Well, I have to think about going.
Alright, fuck. That was an unfortunate way to end the show. But I appreciate you for coming on, man. I know you're not feeling all that great, but I'm still glad you came on, dude.
I appreciate that. You got RJ back, so you guys can continue as long as you like. RJ, check you later. I gotta check out.
All right, Jeff. Pleasure's all mine, man.
Alright, Jeff. Appreciate you. Good. Have a happy New Year and be safe.
Happy New Year, entire Yari universe.
Boom.
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 Boom. Alright, it's just me and you.
Yeah, my phone got hot and it shut down for a second.
Goddamn. Yeah, let's wrap it up. Let's do a quick speed through for day one, if you're up for that.
Yeah, sure.
All right, day one is gonna
Saturday, right?
This Saturday, January 1st, in Atlanta, Georgia, at the State Farm Center. There's a lot of talk going on that there might not be a lot of people showing up due to COVID. But then there's that report that came out where WWE apparently is not going to test for COVID anymore. So we're just going to go with the list that we already have up right now. So we can just speed through it. The first match, there's 7 matches. The first match I'm going to start with, RK Bro versus the Street Profits for the Raw Tag Team Championships.
RK Bro, man.
RK Bro. Same here.
Mm-hmm.
Drew McIntyre versus Madcap Moss.
Why is this a match?
Because Drew McIntyre and Happy Corbin are feuding.
Then why not have Happy Corbin versus Drew McIntyre?
Well,
why are we delaying the inevitable bad match between the two? You know what? Actually, you know what? I take that back. You know what? It might be, maybe Drew can carry Baron Corbin to something nice. I don't know. I guess we have to see.
But we're gonna go with Drew McIntyre, I'm assuming.
Of course, yeah.
Next, we have Becky Lynch versus Liv Morgan for the Raw Women's Championship.
God, I want Liv to win it, but I don't think it's gonna happen. I agree with what you said the other night. Bianca all the way.
Yeah, it seems like they're gonna go with Bianca and Becky at Mania. Liv,
right. Which I'm not mad at that.
I like Liv, but it's just when she talks, it just doesn't sound good. Like that promo she did last week, just was not.
Stepsister porn lines.
Becky, I'm stuck in the dryer. Will you help me? Like that. That's how bad it sounded. Like she's just the promos are not her best friend. So I'm going with Becky on this. Edge versus Miz singles match.
Do they continue this thing?
I would imagine they would, because Edge usually likes to do long-term storytelling, as people like to say, which is, I mean, to Edge's credit, he doesn't just want to do one-and-done matches. He wants to continue them to, I guess, elevate people.
I think Miz gets the Duke.
You think he cheats, or there's help from Maurice?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Maurice is going to help him at best. And then I think the next match they're going to do, I think they're going to do a mixed tag, and then I think they'll do I think this is going 3 matches.
All right, so you think this will be at Mania? This will continue to Mania?
Yeah. I think the wives will get involved. That's why Beth Phoenix left. That's partially why she left. I do believe the fact that she wanted to be home with the kids and stuff like that. But I also believe at the same time that she is probably getting herself in ring shape for a little bit of a go with the Miz and Maurice.
Okay. Yeah, Miz. I'll go with Miz with help from Maurice. Mm-hmm. Next we have the WWE SmackDown Tag Team Championships. We have the Usos versus the New Day.
Oh God. There's got to at least be one title change on this night, right?
Probably.
I think New Day gets the Duke. They beat Usos.
Probably.
I think they beat them. I think they beat them, and I think they're gonna drop the belts to Los Lotharios there, Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo.
Yeah, because I think both of these teams are over. I mean, New Day's over, Usos are over. I mean, I think the New Day is more over. I don't think the Usos are as over as I think they are. But I'll also give it to New Day. But either way, New Day can be champions for like a month, and they can just drop it to whoever. So I'll go with New Day. Yeah. Next is Universal Championship. You got Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar.
Roman Reigns gets the Duke. Paul Heyman, they swerve everybody. Paul Heyman turns on Brock Lesnar. Roman Reigns gets the Duke. Spears Brock Lesnar out of his shoes and gets a win.
That kind of seems that way because the Roman and Paul stuff is just so good. And, Brock looks like he's doing just fine on his own.
He looks like he's having fun. Like, he looks rejuvenated, man. Like, he looks great. This is the best Brock Lesnar I've seen in forever.
Yeah, and I like it. I like that he's just being... And the fact that he's being funny, it's also kind of terrifying because, this guy's going to tear your head off. So, right. I mean,
And you know what? Another thing that's funny, right? I noticed a couple of different things. I was thinking about a couple of different things at work. One, Brock Lesnar's been on every SmackDown ever since he came back from his quote-unquote suspension. I don't know if you noticed that.
No, I noticed.
No, he's been on it every week. Not here and there, but he's been on every week. And two, I would not mind if they did Brock Lesnar and Sami Zayn as a makeshift tag team. Give them the tag team titles. I would like that.
That would be so cool. I would love that.
That would be pretty fucking funny, and I think, the chemistry there would be something good. I don't know, maybe that's something for them to explore down the line, especially if they want to keep Sami Zayn from going away from AEW. Which, I mean, to me, I don't think, as much as I love Sami Zayn, I don't think that would be a big loss to them in their eyes, but it's clear they're trying to keep him because they're featuring him in heavy stuff. So,
well, the rumor is he already signed back.
Oh, okay. That wouldn't surprise me if Owens is staying. He's probably staying too.
Yeah. So
and Owens is close with the fucking Bucks, so that should tell you everything you need to know. El Generico, Sami Zayn to me was never really known to be tight with the Young Bucks like that. So, and plus, I can see them arguing a whole lot over political beliefs and stuff like that backstage.
Yeah, I don't think Sami Zayn would work well in AEW just because of his personality, but. Yeah. I definitely can see Paul getting involved. Do you think this match ends up being like a trilogy?
Yeah, I think they go one more round at Mania.
That kind of seems the way to go.
My thing is, I don't want Brock Lesnar to win the Royal Rumble to get there. That's my thing.
Yeah,
I hate when WWE have big stars, and that was kind of my problem with Edge winning it this year. And I was listening, it was mighty funny because I was listening back to the big Rumble post show that you, Kev, and Monty did earlier this year. And, I even said it on the show, I didn't have a problem with Edge winning. It was just the fact that Edge, like Goldberg, could come out and call his own shot because Edge never lost the belt. So, in hindsight, he should be able to go out there and be like, hey, I never lost my title. I want a title shot. Whereas Goldberg, he just marches out of there, has no right to the WWE title, and he just demands a title match. You know what I'm saying? Because he's Bill Goldberg. You know what I'm saying? So I think Brock Lesnar should be doing the same, honestly. But that's just me.
Yeah, I'd rather see Brock do that than Goldberg. Because at least with Brock is pretty much Debo. He can pretty much come in and be like, "What title?" So that can be him. And then, I don't know if this is going to be the main event, but it's the last match on the card. You have the Fatal 4-Way for the WWE Championship. Big E defending against Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, and Bobby Lashley.
Oh, damn. I haven't heard any reports about how they feel on Big E's title run. But as weeks go by, a lot of people are starting to really sour on Big E's title run. Owens and Rollins are doing their damn best to carry this damn feud. And Lashley, with the stuff going on with Lashley right now, I think Kevin Owens is going to win the belt. I think he's going to win the belt. I think will Seth Rollins even make it to day one? That's another question we have to ask ourselves too.
Yeah, so
Big E's title
sorry.
run as a babyface is not clicking with a lot of people. And Bobby Lashley looks like he's starting his own little side story with MVP with the whole distrust stuff. So I don't know. There's a lot of different elements that can play up in this match right here. I am genuinely interested to see who walks out with the title because, as far as I'm concerned, there's a lot of strong elements, but there's no set winner here.
Right, I was mentioning earlier, there is a lot of wrestlers that they didn't really name, except for Seth. Seth announced that he has COVID. So the question is, will he make it? Will they do something to where, like, they write Seth off of the show? Like, I don't know what they're going to do, but as far as who wins it, I think they're going to keep it on Big E. And, I mean, I have not been a fan of Big E's title run. I tried to give him a chance, but he just hasn't been working out because he looks like he's more of an Intercontinental Champion than a World Champion, because he doesn't really ooze World Champion like charisma, as Bobby Lashley looked like a World Champion. He acted like a champion. Even, and I'm going to sound like I'm being a dick sucker, but, Drew McIntyre looked like a champion and he acted like a champion. Same thing with Brock. Same thing with Roman. Right. Big E just doesn't really act like a champion, and his whole thing is, well, I don't want to be serious. I still want to be, goofy Big E. I'm like, okay, that's fine, but when you're a world champion, you kind of have to be at a higher standard.
And not even just that, but like, even his place in this feud, like, he's not even the focus of this damn feud.
Right. And another thing he does that really is bothering me is he'll give these really serious promos that are really good, and then he'll end it by doing New Day stuff. Like, he'll just be shucking and driving in the ring. It'd be like if I'm talking to you, I'm like, if we're doing a feud, and I'm saying, RJ, at Judgment Day, it's going to be you and me in the ring, and one man's going to be coming out on top, and that's going to be me. And there's not a damn thing you can do about it. And then I end it by doing the Cabbage Patch.
That would be an entertaining sight to see, actually.
Like, it wouldn't add up.
Doing the goddamn Cabbage Patch.
I mean, it'd be cool, but it's just like, Big E needs to. If you're going to be serious, stick to being serious. Do not end it by trying to be like, to remind people that you're in the New Day. We know you're in the New Day, but we want to see what you can do. So, just try to have that perfect balance of seriousness, but also still be Big E. But it's just like he tries to do too much of Big E. He tries to do too much of New Day stuff, and I'm just not feeling it. And I already have a feeling he's going to be champion until Mania. So, but the other question is, who is he going to defend at Mania? But
that's what I'm saying. Is it going to be Seth? Is it going to be Kevin? Is it going to be? Because where I sit right now, I think Seth and Kevin are going to go for tag team titles.
Really?
The way they having them all buddy all of a sudden. And that leaves the door wide open for all they're going to do. See, with Lashley, Lashley's turning face. I mean, I think that's crystal clear to see. MVP, I don't think he's turning face with him. So that leaves the question open for that, too. Who does Bobby Lashley move forward with in the program? Because MVP, he's semi-retired and he's injured and stuff like that. And then who does MVP advocate for? A couple of questions that we have to ask ourselves too moving forward.
I don't know, but I mean,
I heard rumors about Lashley and Omos and MVP. I'm not interested in that.
Well, I mean, and that wouldn't be a bad idea because MVP is Paul Heyman on Raw. Like, he can talk. So
yeah, he can. It's just that Omos is just like, I don't know. Physically, he looks great and everything like that, but to me, he doesn't look like doesn't look like a star in a sense where, like, I don't get a coolness factor from him.
Right.
He's just blah. He's just there. You know what I'm saying? Just like the Great Khali, just blah, there. Whereas Wardlow looks like a beast. Brian Cage, for all intents and purposes, and however you feel about him, Brian Cage is like a monster. Like I said earlier about Hook by Crook. Even Powerhouse Hobbs, they look like monsters. Omos just looks like a big, tall. He looks like the WWE's version of Taco Fall from the Cavaliers.
Oh God.
That's what he looks like. I mean, shit, they look like they could be goddamn twins. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, he doesn't look like anything physically except for the fact that he's 7 foot tall.
I don't know. I think he's much better than Great Khali. But
no, definitely no. I'm not talking about in ring work. Like in ring work, he's definitely mobile. Can move. You can tell he played. I mean, he's got to be somewhat mobile to play basketball. Even though he's probably a center in high school and college or whatever he played. But yeah, you got to be somewhat mobile to move around, especially nowadays. I mean, with the age of big man that we have going on nowadays, like he had to be somewhat mobile. But he's just blah. He's just there. Like nothing really impressive, you know what I mean? Like physically or there's nothing. He doesn't do anything that's necessarily cool, you know what I'm saying, either. So I don't know. That's just me.
I get you. But yeah, that's Dave. I didn't choose anyone. I think Big E's gonna win, but I would love if Kevin Owens won.
Yeah,
that would just be my opinion. But
like Kevin Owens is back on his shit as a heel again. I seen all the footage of him at the house shows, beating up the inflatable snowman and giving the reindeer a fucking stunner. He telling the lady that he should that her kids are bad and that he should adopt them, and if he did, that they would be getting ass whoopings every night. I was like, oh my god, that's it. Kevin Owens is just a fucking magician, man.
I love him.
He's a great underdog, like babyface, fight for the man, babyface. But he is such a great prick heel too.
He is he's so much better as a heel.
Like he's definitely one of those guys that can play both roles very, very well. But his heel stuff just outweighs the babyface stuff a little bit because he's just so much better as a prick.
I'm so glad he stayed in WWE. Like, if he went to AEW again, it would have been another story if he would have gotten lost in the shuffle, and he would have had to do the elite Kenny Omega Young Bucks shit. So I don't know, but anyways, that's the show. We went to the fourth.
I'm not gonna lie, I would have killed to see him in Punk, but according to Kevin Owens, Punk doesn't really like him either. So,
well, no, I remember that interview. He said it was miscommunication. Like he, I guess like Punk was, or not. It was either Punk or like Kerry Silken or one of the owners of Ring of Honor or PWG that was complaining about him, working in a shirt, and they were, I guess, requesting he work in a singlet. And when he got back to the match, he was telling Punk, you happy about that? But he just came out of a match, so of course he's going to be very winded and he's going to sound like he's yelling.
Yeah.
And Punk got pissed off about it. And he's like, dude, I wasn't really mad at you. I just came out of a match. So he said it was a miscommunication. So him and Punk are, at the moment, they're fine. And Punk never mentioned Steen by name as far as being somebody that's excelled in the company. So the only person he's ever really mentioned by name is AJ Styles, but that's another story. Anyways,
yeah,
that's the show, guys. That's the last show of the year. RJ, go ahead and plug your stuff, dude.
You can follow me on Twitter at LowRJ Unlimited, and go subscribe to the Brother Monty, RJ the Brooklyn Savage. Patreon is up. Monty is doing some more moving around, so once he gets set, I think we should be able to start going, especially in the new year, and prepare for some nice content to be put over there. And subscribe to Drew Yari's Patreon too, where he does shows with me, Jet Liveman, and Ruben Prime. You get a lot of stuff. Get a lot of bang for your buck. It's only $5. Shout out to Wrestling Soup, Solo Monster, and Kevin Castle. The greats The guys that paved the path for old good young folk like me, and yeah, man, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, RJ he stole my lines. Subscribe. God damn it! Eraser. Anyways, I'm not gonna do that. We'll be here all night, and we only got like 18 and a half minutes before Speaker cuts me off. But yeah, just again, Patreon, $5. I do shows with RJ. I do shows with Ruben Prime. I do shows with Jeff Lippman. It's just $5. It's a lot of bang for your buck. It's a damn good price. So subscribe to it already. God damn it! Come on. God damn it! Stop looking over there, damn it! Look over here. And then of course go to the Brother Monty Patreon. Again, $5. I think there's different tiers, but $5 I believe is the lowest one at the moment. And RJ, I know for a fact, is going to be on there. And like we said, Monty's doing Monty things. And once he's finally found a spot, once he's finally settled, you will be seeing some good shit on there. So trust me on that. They're good dudes. They put on a good show, so listen to them. As well as the Brother Monty podcast. And RJ, do you still do the Brooklyn Savage show?
Yeah, I'm actually rebranding some stuff. I'm adding some stuff to my station, I guess you can say. I'm continuing to do the SJ World show with SJ. It's pretty much me and her. She's pretty much the host, and we just talk about things that she wants to talk about. So we're supposed to be doing one like after the new year, and then I'm also with the quote-unquote E-Fed stable that I have, the Scorso Kingdom. Mm-hmm. I'm supposed to be doing a podcast with them like every 2 weeks with some of the guys in there, Logan and Ryan and Kyle. So yeah, we'll like when more I can't even talk. When more details about that comes out, I'll let you guys know the status of that. But yeah, we're doing a lot of different stuff in RJ's land as far as like my podcasting and stuff goes too. So yeah, should be fun.
Yeah, look out for that, guys. And also, shout out to everybody: Wrestling Soup, Breaking the Apocalypse, Kevin Castle, Trez, Baseball Chicky, let's see, Wrestling Court, False Count Radio, the Texas Podcast Massacre, and Brother Monty, of course, RJ here, Ruben Prime, Jeff Lippman, Hammer Like Hangover with Steve, Garden of Doom, John Draper I mentioned with Breaking the Apocalypse, B. O'Brien, and Shaheen. I gotta mention those boys again.
Yeah, Shaheen, shout out to him, man. Helped me out a whole lot in 2021.
And again, I gotta mention this, Nuclear Heat Graphics with Shaheen. If you need any artwork done for your podcast, for any reason at all, for anything you're doing, go to Shaheen. Look him up on Nuclear Heat Graphics. If you follow him on Facebook, send him up a message, tell him what you want. He will do it for you, and it's at a good price. The man doesn't work for free. He works like he knows his worth, and his worth is damn good. So
good, people.
Damn good. He's done a lot of artwork for the show, and like RJ mentioned, he's done some artwork for him, and he's done some artwork for some famous wrestlers that we know. So the man is damn good at his job. So look up Nuclear Heat Graphics, and Yuck Nasty, who's done some music for the show. I can't forget about Yuck Nasty. I don't mention him enough.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I gotta get back in touch with Yuck. I know, like that's one of the bad things about working overnight. Sometimes certain messages and stuff like get lost in translation while I'm sleeping. Mm-hmm. So it's just like shit. Like certain people get left behind, especially Twitter and all these damn group chats, and then all kinds of people hit me up for dumb reasons and shit like that. So a lot of the messages really get lost. So yeah, I gotta get back in touch with Yuck about some stuff.
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking about doing a new theme. I also need to get in touch with Shaheen maybe to get some new artwork done. But
yeah, me too. I don't know if you've seen earlier, but me and Morgan was playing around earlier on Twitter. Like she had posted this beautiful painting that she painted last night, mm-hmm. and I called her Morgangelo, right? Mm-hmm. And then she called me Rockatello. And then Ryan goes, well, does that make me Ryan Nardo? And said, we need one more. And I was like, Renafiel. And now we just score some Mutant Ninja Turtles. So I'm trying to see if I can get Shaheen to maybe do like a portrait for all of us, like one by one.
Oh, I'm pretty sure he has. He made the one I have currently, the Venom one.
Yeah, no, that's a dope piece too.
I fucking love it. And he made me not Scarlett Johansson, but a Scarlet Witch Elizabeth Olsen piece.
Isn't that the one where she controls your mind or something like that?
That's partially the pictures from WandaVision. Because I know Breaking Apocalypse, they were doing a thing where, and I shouldn't say a thing because that sounds like I'm, not really giving it a lot of attention, but they had said, donate money to your nearest animal shelter or no-kill shelter, and then just send us the receipt, and then that's how much you're paying for your piece. Mm-hmm. And, that's what I did. Donated to the San Antonio Humane Society. Shout out to them. And, Shaheen made that for me, and I just gave him pictures of what I wanted, and he made it, and it's fucking dope.
Yeah.
But,
I was I want something like that. I wanted to get like another like Raven King like piece. Maybe get like a thing where like Raven is controlling my mind and stuff like that. Yeah, I just gotta find the right pictures to do that too. Yeah, so I mean, there's a lot of different things. Like Shaheen really hooked me up, man. That Raven King piece he made me was just fantastic. I mean, my God, that was great. And then the one he made for me, Chrissy, Nadia, Jay, and Axel, that was really cool too. Like they really loved that. That was like, holy shit, that's awesome. And I was like, yeah, it's pretty damn cool, man. Like Shaheen's the man, y'all. Like
definitely.
He really is.
Definitely. A shout to my Iranian brother, Shaheen. He's the man.
Mm-hmm.
But shout out to everybody. Shout out to everybody that supported me. Shout out to everybody that supported RJ, Jeff Lippman, Ruben.
Absolutely.
Shout out to everybody that has a podcast, because we all have podcasts. If you like anything, if you like wrestling, if you like movies, if you like comic books, if you're into gardening, I mean, there's podcasts about anything.
Yeah.
So
if you like porn references, got that too.
If you like references about Lexicon Steel going, balls deep in Julia Hart, I mean, hold on. I got you.
Oh,
come on, this thing load faster. Come on. I got you. Come on, it's the end of the year, so I have to do it. Ready? Sounds like a dog that's being chained up outside.
God, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God. I never heard God's name in that. So many times in one sentence is ridiculous.
Gianna!
Oh man, oh man, oh man! I just can't hold it anymore. Oh my God, that's funny. Oh my God, damn, man.
Jesus Christ! Alright, guys, have a happy New Year. I hope you guys had a great Christmas. I hope you guys have a happy and safe New Year. Here's to the New Year. Here's to seeing you guys next year. The only thing we can say is, what else can we say? But,
2022 a year.
Let's make it a good year. Let's make it a great year. Let's be good to one another. Let's just not be dicks. Just be nice. It's a lot easier to be nice than it is to be a dick. I understand sometimes you have to be a dick, but try to be nicer. Just try to be nice to each other. Try to be good to each other. Don't be idiots. Don't get mad over.
Wag your dick, but don't be a dick.
Exactly. That's the best.
You wag that in the bedroom, all right? In the privacy of your own home, you motherfuckers.
Exactly. Use that anger to be more constructive. That's all we gotta say. But I'm gonna end the show. How I usually end it, by just saying all I really want from everybody is peace.
That's right.
The Drew Yari Show.
It's Drew Yari. It's Drew Yari.
The Drew Yari Show.
It's Drew Yari. It's Drew Yari.
The Drew Yari Show.
It's Drew Yari.
The Drew Yari Show.
It's Drew Yari.
The Drew Yari Show.
It's Drew Yari.